Hey, Chris.
Hey,
Hey, Mike.
what's up?
All right. What's up? What's up with you guys? Chris, where you at, man?
Right now, Lufkin, Texas.
How's the weather out there?
Hot?
Hot? Unbearably hot or just hot? As if there's a difference.
Oh, right now it's showing 97 degrees on my dash.
That's pretty hot.
Earlier it was 106.
That
I'd
is
say that's
pretty hot.
ridiculous hot.
That is pretty hot. Mike, where are you in Utah?
Not yet. I'm just about 10 miles from the border in Idaho. So I'm coming down Chris's neck of the woods and going to my neck of the woods.
All right. All right.
262 Jupiter Road, Juniper Road.
Yeah. You know, I would have done the show earlier this week, but my computer blew. Um, I vape a lot in case you guys hadn't noticed. Um,
No, we didn't notice, bro. We never noticed all the clouds.
and
Right?
this is my second one in the last, I don't know, maybe 3 years. And I build these computers myself, and they cost me a little around $2,000 every time I blow one. And I just built this one like probably 6 months ago, maybe a little longer than that. And I was really proud of this one, but I don't know, man. I think I just, the vape juice is dripping down off the fans. And I just blew it, man. I turned it off Friday night, and Saturday when I went to turn it back on, the computer ran, but my screens wouldn't come on. So the first thing that hit me was
Video card.
the video card, blew. So I didn't know because there was just so much vape juice in it. So I didn't really feel like wasting a lot of time trying to rebuild it again or take it apart or nothing. So I just took it into the shop and Micro Center, and they came back and said, "Yo, what the hell is all of this shit inside this computer? Like, where the hell are you running this computer?" And I'm like, "In my office." And they were like, "Nah, brother. What is all the liquid inside the computer?" And I said, "Oh, that's vape juice." And they were like, "Well, how much are you vaping?"
A lot.
A lot. I'm like stressed a lot. You know what I mean? Like I'm sitting here right now looking at my vape, and I'm like, I can't vape because I can't do this every few months. And luckily after the first one blew, which is over here, it's loaded with vape juice. I got a little wise. They said, "Listen, put the insurance on it, so that way if it blows again, you're covered." So I did that, and they didn't want to honor the insurance that I purchased, and they had to replace the motherboard. They had to clean it first. Then they had to replace the motherboard, the video card, and the power supply blew. They had to rewire it, all new wiring, everything, because everything was corroded with vape juice. The only thing I was able to keep on this computer was the two. I kept the memory, the RAM sticks, and the CPU, which is a
Central
AMD.
processing unit.
Yeah, the AMD. I got an AMD one. this one was the latest one that came out I believe it was last winter or last spring. The CPU cost me like $750. So I was like really concerned about the CPU, but in any case, the whole fucking thing blew, and they were dragging their feet. So I had to go down there yesterday and scream on them to get my computer fixed and get it back. So I finally got it back, but I'm having an issue with the speakers, so I gotta download the drivers and all that other stuff, and whatever. It is what it is. So let's get to the topic of the day. It looks like, well, it doesn't look like we got a response from the FMCSA on 49 CFR 371.3. And basically the response was not the one that we were hoping for. I wasn't hoping for it. It looks like they are going to respond to it, but they're not going to respond to it until October 2024. So it looks like the TIA accomplished more than what we accomplished when we went down to Washington. They actually were able to get transparency kicked down the road for an entire fucking year. So that's the story of the day. Let me see if I can get this out here. Let me find it. Okay. I'm looking for it. Oh, here we go. That's not it. Anyway, while I'm looking for this, why don't you guys give me your opinion on that? Mike, I'll start. Chris, I'll start with you.
Well, it's bullshit that they're putting it off for a whole nother year. They've been putting it off for how many years now?
2020.
And even, yeah, so almost 4 years. 3 years now. Now we're not going to get a decision for 4. We need to step up and show them we mean business. We need to unite and shut this country down. Raleigh in Washington, do something. Yep. We got to do something. We need to get our point across.
It's time to stop pussyfooting around.
Yeah.
I mean, we shut it down November 1st. They'll understand that October 2024 is not going to work because it'd be a long damn wait from some food to get on the shelf from that point. And I think we should change it. It's until it is decided. Period. Until it is decided. Not till January 1st. To hell with it. Just shut the country down. Bring your military out to go drive our trucks. But you're going to have to get your own because you ain't driving mine.
Transparency in property carrier broker transactions. They basically didn't respond at all. They just put a publication date here of October 31st, 2024 is when they are going to publish their ruling. So they basically just said, fuck you to the entire trucking community. So everyone can enjoy. that is what your government thinks about you if you drive a truck in this country. I found it kind of funny. I was watching Alex Mai from Mother Trucker. He did a show a few days ago asking 3.5 million truck drivers to shut down and block highways for a month. I need to explain. That's what he says. He does not agree. He thinks that that's not the right thing to do. And he thinks that educating truck drivers is a better thing to do. He has a plan to find out which truck drivers are taking loads for garbage rates and setting up training sessions for them around the country. Alex Mai from Mother Trucker. So tune into his show. He's going to unveil his plan eventually. He says that he doesn't. Hold on, Mike. I'm being very serious. He says that.
Oh, wow.
He says that he doesn't think it's a good idea for people to be late to work if we block highways and bridges because we are losing our businesses and our trucks. He's concerned that people are going to be late to work. I mean, I could play this for you if you want. He's let's see, it ran for, he likes to talk, so it ran for like an hour or something. I don't know.
Well, you got the clippings software to clip that.
Hey, John.
Hey, wow, John, you're echoing back.
Hey, John.
Hey, man.
Hey,
I'm echoing back.
Did you hear the news?
I did. Jamie called me and told me.
They spat in our face.
So so this decision that they made, who, was there a committee who made it, or what kind of announcement?
It was the FMCSA. The FMCSA basically said they're not going to. They kicked the can down the road again. They said they're not going to rule on it until October 31st, 2024.
Am I the only one that echoes back?
I don't hear
No, it's Marlon. Marlon, do you have it on your car speaker?
No, I have it on my phone. Want me to go out and come back in?
Nah.
No,
I think you just got to turn your phone down.
Yeah, you got to turn the volume down.
Your speaker, that's all. It's just kicking back.
Better now?
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah, that's better.
All right, sorry about that.
Nah, that's cool. But that's the case, bro. They kicked the can down the road for a year. Over a year. Today is September 26th, so they said they're not going to rule on it until October 31st. Basically, Robin Hutchinson told every truck driver, every owner-operator in the company to kiss her ass. So enjoy. Pucker up, MFs.
Maybe we should all get together and go down to her office.
No,
maybe just like call it a day and shut down.
Mother Trucker.
They called our bluff.
Mother Trucker does not think that's a good idea. He thinks that shutting down is a bad idea.
You want me how much of a flying F
for us to figure out a way to train truckers that are taking loads for garbage money to negotiate traffic. He basically wants us to teach guys that are taking loads for garbage money how to negotiate. He wants us to now turn into some sort of a business 101 class. He wants
Marlon,
us to
mute your mic real quick.
So
okay, now try it.
That's where we are now with this. And it is what it is. What are we going to do? It is what it is. People have a choice to make. People have a decision to make. How you handle this is up to you. The National Owner Operators Association is here. We've been here. They do understand crash statistics show neither governing nor ELDs have reduced accidents and deaths. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I would have to say that they don't care. If they don't care about us being paid what we're supposed to be paid, I don't think they care about any. You know what? Let's just bottom line this, right? The fact that you have an ELD in your truck has nothing to do with safety. It has to do with the fact that mega corporations want you to have an ELD in your truck. I think if we learned anything from what happened today, we learned that corporations do run this country. Mega corporations are the ones that really run this country. Our government is corrupt. It is blind, and they do not care. They are not going to do what's right. They are going to do what the highest bidder wants them to do. Now, you can take that information and do what you want with it, but it's the truth. The TIA went down to Washington yesterday. They're there today, and they're going to be there tomorrow. And today we got word from the FMCSA that they're not going to rule on transparency until October 31st next year, 2024. Now, I know I'm a little slow, right? I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. And I know there's a lot of other people out there that are similar to me. But that is clear to me. I understand this. I understand this. I agree. This government is wrong. This government is foul. And owner operators have power, and they need to decide on how they want to use it. It's the ball's in your court. You have the information now, and the ball's in your court. Go ahead, Mike.
I really don't even know what to say. I mean, honestly, I'm baffled. And it completely stupefies me how the government can't figure it out. I mean, a 17-year-old can figure it out, and 18-year-old can figure it out, but the government that runs our country, whether it be the FMCSA, the DOT, or whatever three-letter organizations you want, a four-letter organization, they just can't seem to figure it out.
They figured it out.
But what I do know is I wasn't shut down for COVID.
They figured it out. They figured it out very well, and they announced it today. They figured it out. They don't give a fuck. I don't think they are confused. They figured it out. They don't give a shit, bro. They don't care about your money. They don't care about justice. They don't care about your money. They care about mega corporations making more. TIA represents companies. TIA represents brokers. TIA represents companies like TQL, Surge Transportation. They don't give a shit about you. That truck you're in right now, they don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about you or your truck or your business or your family or your bills or your fucking tires and your fucking problems. They went straight down to Congress this week, and they told them what to do. Ann Reinke told Robin Hutchinson to kick this shit down the road for an entire year. And she did it.
Again, like I said, it's time they called our bluff. And now we show them that we had a royal flush. I mean, I'm sorry for the people, but they can call the Congress and say, hey, there's no food on my damn shelf. What are you going to do about it? But at that point in time, DOT doesn't have a job because they won't be able to stop us from running, because we'll have to run nonstop. No logbook, no regulations, no nothing. This is an emergency. Holy shit, we're out of food. Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck around and find out.
Look, it is what it is, man. You know, I definitely do think that we need to shut down. I think we need to stop rolling. I called for multiple shutdowns this year. I called for a boycott of TQL, JB Hunt, and CH Robinson. I called for justice. I call for Robin Hutchinson to be removed from the FMCSA. Lack of confidence, no confidence. I feel that she can't do the job, and I think she should be removed from the FMCSA. I'm not going to back down from that. I feel I'm going to say it again. Robin Hutchinson should be removed from the FMCSA. She has absolutely, she cannot do this job. She should not be there. She should have never been there. She cannot do this job. I feel Pete Buttigieg is another failure. He should not be where he is, and he cannot do this job. I feel that I feel there's a lot of people in government that should lose their jobs. That's all I can say. All the way up to Biden. I think that this is a mess, and this is just inexcusable. This is outright this is just a miscarriage of justice and inexcusable. Marlon, I don't know why the echo is coming.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Every time on the speakerphone.
Yeah, let me get back out and try and adjust. I'm not using a Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Let me go back and adjust.
It's all right. Chris, go ahead, brother.
You're totally right. I think FMCSA needs to go to California, all of them, and then California just fall into the ocean along with FMCSA.
Yeah.
All of them.
I mean, they're only good at one thing, and that is putting more rules on truckers that make absolutely no sense.
We got to get MAGA out of there first, though. MAGA's got to come out first. We got to get Matt out of California.
So, I don't know what to say on that. It is what it is. People need to do what they feel is best. We called for a shutdown November 1st, and we're standing by it. If people can, we ask that you shut down on November 1st. We are going to shut down. The National Owner Operators Association made a commitment that if FMCSA made a ruling on transparency that was not in our favor, we would be calling for a shutdown on November 1st. We are shutting down on November 1st. There is absolutely no reason for this to be kicked down the road again. They already kicked it down the road enough, and they are kicking this issue down the road because they know that they have to rule in our favor. This rule has been on the books for 43 years, and it is in our favor. Brokers are bound by law to show us the what they are being paid from the shippers. And
what did
does not want to enforce that rule. They have to, so they're kicking the can down the road. Listen, this is what it is. People need to decide how they want to handle this. I know how I want to handle it. There's only a few different ways, but I can tell you that shutting down is my number one choice. Will people do it? That's up to them. I've been shut down since March. Go ahead, Mark.
What did SBTC say?
A lot. I'm reading. James is texting me as we speak. James is saying a lot. What can I say? I can't read all this now, but a lot.
Can I ask a stupid question? Why are you going to wait until November 1st?
I have no idea. They did not put an excuse on why this was going to take until October 31st, but that is what they said. We asked for them to give a date on when. James asked for them to give a date on when they were going to make the ruling. He asked for that last week, and they gave a date. Look, it's not a bad decision. It's just no decision. And they extended the time horizon on when they're going to make the decision. It's not like they said no to transparency. They honestly, in my opinion, they don't have the ability to. That has been in there. We have had the right to transparency since the Motor Carrier Act of 1980 was signed by Jimmy Carter. So the FMCSA doesn't have the ability to strike that out of the act. That has to be done by Congress, from my understanding. But this is what it is. It is a miscarriage of justice. It is a blatant show of how can I put this? Yes. It is
disrespect to us
of just corporate greed and backroom dealings.
How did they release it?
The TIA is in Washington right now. They got there yesterday. They're there today. They're going to be there until tomorrow. This is a blatant just show of just, what is the word I'm looking for? Just it's
injustice.
Corruption. That's the word I'm looking for. Corruption in our government. Corruption. And these people are either really stupid or really smart. I don't understand. The TIA is in Washington right now. We were in Washington last week talking about this. The TIA is in Washington right now telling them that this is rate intrusion and we should not be granted transparency. And they agreed with them with this ruling. And they only covered it up by just kicking the can down the road for a year. Because they knew they couldn't just say no to transparency. They can't. But they can keep kicking the can down the road. And that's exactly what they did. And they did that just for the TIA. And who does the TIA represent? Search, Transportation, TQL, JB Hunt, all of these, C.H. Robinson. You just got this from every broker in the country.
Well, is there really any way that we can find out who all is a member of TQL and or not TQL but TIA?
What are you going to do?
A member of TIA.
For what?
Start a boycott one at a time.
We're past boycotts, Michael.
Well, I know we're going to shut down, but
hold on. I've been boycotting TQL since last March. Don't you think we're past boycotting TQL?
I mean, next to shutting the country down, I don't know what to do.
TQL has 26 offices in 56 states. I bet I can find one of those offices like that.
Main headquarters is in Cleveland, Ohio.
There's one right in Salt Lake.
Hey, Justin.
There's one right in Salt Lake.
Fucking rabid bitch.
We're past boycotting. We're past boycotting. That's old news. We need to try something different. We need to change tactics here. Boycotting is done. I can tell you this. By October 2024, I can guarantee you one thing. Everybody in this panel right now will be unemployed. You will not be driving your own truck. If you are driving a truck, you will be a company driver.
Are you on camera?
That I promise you.
I'll never be a company driver again. They need to understand that right now. I will never go back to being a company driver.
You need
So,
to
Mike,
video.
I'm
What
confused.
the hell is all that noise?
Go ahead, Marlon.
I'm confused. Now, the FMCSA is governed by Congress and the Senate. Am I right or wrong? Am I wrong?
Right. You are right. They are a division of the Department of Transportation. You're right.
So, so do you think that the ruling that came down today, was it an official ruling? What, just a preview on the way that they're going to vote, or how did they actually put it out today? I'm sorry asking elementary questions, but I'm
They're not going to shit on it.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm learning a lot of this as I go along as well. Unfortunately, I spent most of my career in trucking actually running my company. So I didn't spend a lot of time with legislation. So I'm learning a lot of this now. They have the way that they do this is they give a date on when they're going to make a ruling on a certain issue, and they make that date public. So people know to look for the decision on that issue on that date. And they had, I forget the website because I'm a little pissed right now, but there is a website that you can go to and you can find out what the status is of a decision that's supposed to be coming down soon. And what they did with this particular situation is they had it up there, the decision for transparency, but there was no date. The woman who had it sitting on her desk had it there. Yes. Yeah, 1 second. The woman who had it sitting there had it sitting on her desk, and there was no date on when that decision was to be made. So we started inquiring about the date. James Lamb from SBTC did it first. He made a formal request for a date. I saw his email, and we started requesting it as well. And you saw we were down there talking to congressmen and senators and their staffers, and we were telling them, we were asking them, call the FMCSA and ask them to set a date and make, get some information. So they did that. And they put the date in there. Now, if you go to that website, you could see that there's a date there. They didn't make any formal announcement. They just put a date on when they were going to make the announcement. And the date is October 31st, 2024. They didn't make any type of formal announcement, not as far as I know.
Maybe we'll go back to work when they make a decision. I mean, we'll just put it out there, We'll go. We'll take our leave of absence, our shutdown, November 1st, and we'll go ahead and go after they make their decision in October of 2024. until, I
Anyway.
mean,
So
we'll
that's
work at
the
Burger King because we're making more fucking money anyway.
so that's the situation with that, John.
So the reason I say is then the issue is still open. It's not officially closed.
Well, it's not. No, not at all. It's nothing has changed except the time on when the FMCSA is going to make a ruling on it. You see,
This will make
if
7
you look
years.
at it in a certain way, this is not really a bad decision, only as far as the time is concerned. The FMCSA knows they have to rule in our favor. This is already a rule. It's already law. We already have the right to see all of the documents concerning any transactions that we are part of. The shippers have the right to see them. The receivers have the right to see them. And so do the people that move these loads. So do the owner operators. We already have that right. What we don't have is the enforcement. So the FMCSA has no choice but to rule in our favor.
Right. Okay.
What
So
they do
why-
is delay that ruling, and that's what they're doing. And they're
So-
doing that at the
They've been doing it
behest
for the last
of
3
the
years.
CIA.
They ain't 3. Recalculate there, bud. Shit, this has been on the table since 2018.
So that's the deal with that, Marlon. It's not a dead issue. They didn't close it. They made no ruling. They just said they're not going to make a ruling for over a year. That was it.
Well, I don't think that's acceptable. That's not acceptable. So basically, in my eyes, that we go back to that committee. We bring them the evidence and tell them it can't wait a year. So give them the evidence on how many job loss is going to be between now and October 31st, 24. Let's show them the American jobs that are going to be lost. I think that is an actual viable way to go in front of that committee that we sat in. They should have to hear this. If their governing body over the FMCSA is their governing body that they speak to, and Pete Buttigieg being the Secretary of Transportation, a year is not an acceptable answer. I would not be. It's an open and closed shut case. They need to rule on it now.
I agree. I totally agree. If you are an owner operator in this country and you are struggling to survive right now, you are dead meat. You are not going to make it in a year. I can tell you this is going to get a lot worse now. Brokers are going to be emboldened. They are going to stand on rates even more than they have been. This is going to get a lot worse very quick. So the National Owner Operators Association, once again, is calling for a complete shutdown of all owner operators on November 1st. You can join us if you like, but that is what we are doing. We are shutting down on November 1st. Go ahead. Jamie, welcome to the show. Justin, glad you're back.
What's up, y'all?
Go ahead, Jamie.
Oh, I'm just riding, brother, listening, man. I really, like I said, I was in the drive earlier, and they asked me what was up, and I told them the same thing I'm gonna tell y'all, man. I'm really not in a good humor right now. I ain't got nothing positive to add. I'm pissed off. I don't know what to do,
Yeah,
man,
we've
but
been
we gotta
talking
do
about it.
something. I can't survive a year, brother. I can't survive a year the way
No.
things are going.
Nope.
Most small carriers and owner operators out here can't. So I mean, it is what it is. You know that they're willing to sacrifice the people's security in the country because we're not going to be able to survive this, man. They don't
Because their
care about the
pockets are
people.
being lined. I mean, let's not.
Well, yeah,
let's quit
you know,
bullshitting
TIA
around the.
took their 12.
Fuck yeah.
You know,
They went and lined their
TIA took their
pockets.
12 pieces of silver. It didn't even take 2
Motherfuckers.
days for them to come down and say, well, we're not going to rule on it for a year. It took less than 2 days TIA being there and doing what they do for these lily-livered slime balls to fucking take the bait, take the money, play Judas, and sell us all out.
Let me ask you another stupid question. The amount of funding that they're going to get now, do they have? Okay, so you're telling me that their lobbyists have not only attacked the FMCSA, they have attacked every one of those committees that we talk to. And I'm talking about the committee members, and including Mike Collins. I mean, they would. This is how the lobbying's done, right? So they're going to get a consensus through that committee on what they think on how they're going to tell the FMCSA. Okay, so I would think that you got to go right back down there. But one part of the equation that we're missing. The part of the equation that we're missing is we don't have any money. If we had money, what now? That's my question. How much money do we need to take to go lobby to these people? Hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars? What's that number? I'm confused. I would like to know.
We don't need to lobby, Marlon. We don't need to lobby. We need to do what truck drivers do and stand up for the country's rights. But it's going to hurt the people, and the people
Mike,
need to realize.
Mike, you're wrong. You're wrong. You have to lobby at the same time, especially when the shutdown goes. That's when it's going to be more important to lobby.
You know, let's think about
Why,
this, bro.
why would we line their pockets more? We can't even feed our families.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about what is that number? And you know, I'll be honest with you. You know who has that answer? James has that answer.
It's probably going to be in the millions, Marlon.
What number are you looking for, Marlon?
Just understanding the money that you're up against that are lobbying to the same committee that we lobby to.
$182 million is what they're worth.
The number is, if you want the public number, I have it. If you want the private number, I could not tell you. There's no way for me to know that. I don't know what Total Quality Logistics TQL gives Ann Reinke and TIA on the golf course or in the the back room of some office. I don't know. I can only tell you public information, and that information is out there. If you want to know what TIA gives to congressmen and women and senators, you can go to opensecrets.org and you can get that information. It's some cases it's small numbers, and in other cases it's big numbers. James was telling me that he approached Marco Rubio about an issue some time ago concerning truckers, and in the beginning he was very open to listening to the idea, and then all of a sudden he wasn't interested in it anymore. He brought that up to me, and I looked, and TIA gave Marco Rubio $1,500. I think they gave him like $5,000 through their PAC.
Well, maybe that's public information we need to start getting out to the public.
It's public information.
No, it's public information.
I told you TIA gave Jeff Van Drew $1,500. TIA gives all of these congressmen and senators money. How much is it going to be? Well, the numbers are there. They spent, I think they spent $550,000 last year lobbying Congress. Is that a lot? I don't know. For me, it is. For the National Owner Operators Association, it's a lot. But look how much, if you look how much OIDA spent lobbying Congress last year. OIDA spent 3 times that. 1.5 million, I believe. So there's a lot of questions.
Yeah, they spent 1.5 million or 3.5 million, but Congress didn't know any of the problems out here. I find that real funny. So what
Exactly.
were they lobbying? What were they lobbying for? Is what I want to know, because they didn't lobby for us.
Exactly.
They lobbied for TIA and ATA.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. So,
So it's time
you know,
that owner operators, make a stand. It's
it is what
done.
it is.
I mean,
And while they're doing all of this, we look like fools. We look like
Yeah.
fools. So, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
no, I'm not losing any more
people
money.
have a
I'm done.
decision to make. They have a choice to make. If they want to continue spinning their wheels until they eventually fail, that's up to them. Or they could fight.
How about Carl? What did Carl say to you, Mike?
I have not talked to Carl. I spoke to Carl yesterday. He is out of the office. He's in transit. He's actually going to be back in the office tomorrow. I have a meeting with our people down in Washington tomorrow, I believe at 3 p.m. So we will be talking about, I'm sure they don't know about any of this. So I'll be speaking to them tomorrow afternoon.
Well, I mean, Mike, shouldn't they know? That's what they get paid to do. They get paid to know, brother. I mean, they should have alerts coming to their phone, just like SPTC,
They're not.
just like a lot of us.
They spent
It's
they spent a lot of time with us last week in Washington. Many of the people working on our situation were out of the office. They're just getting back to Washington today and tomorrow. So I will find out what they know and don't know tomorrow.
Well, let's ask ourselves this: how much did Japan pay to Gruesome Newsom to veto that bill? We know they give ATA $1 billion. How much did they pay to Gruesome Newsom?
I hear you. That would probably be some good information to know, but does it really matter? All you really need to know is that somebody got paid, and that's how this works, obviously. So, look.
I think those members of
country, people be pissed off and get up in arms over less. You know what I mean? So it's up to you.
I think you should go right back and talk to the members of that committee that we talked about. And obviously they were influenced because they're the ones guiding the FMCSA. So they have to answer, Mike. That's part of the gig, right? So now we called them out when we were down there, educated them, and now you have to understand the reasoning that they kicked the can down the road for a year. That's unacceptable, man.
I know why they kicked the can down the road for a year. That's that's unmistakable. I know
because they got a big fat check.
I know why too.
They kicked the can down the road for a year because they know they have to enforce transparency somehow. They have to give us what we want. They don't see any viable way around it. So they are delaying it. There is no way around it. So they're delaying. They're kicking it down the road. And then next year, they're going to kick it down the road another year. They're going to keep kicking it down the road until enough of us fail. Until enough of us shut down and forget about it.
Exactly.
This is their strategy. This has been their strategy since the beginning of this year. You see, all of this rage and uproar should have been in place back in March when we announced the boycott of TQL's JB Hunt and CH Robinson. But we've lost so many people since then. Now it's starting to quiet down. That is their strategy. Their strategy is no different than all these other guys that are saying, oh, it's the new guys. Oh, if enough of them fail, rates will go back up. Those fucking idiots. The FMCSA strategy is exactly the same. Let's keep kicking the fucking can down the road. So when enough of them fail, we'll stop having to listen to it. That is their strategy. I know OIDA's strategy. I know this is the strategy. It's all bullshit. I don't know. Maybe you got to be from the streets to understand bullshit, or when somebody's trying to hustle you or sell you some sort of a fucking pipe dream. I don't know, but it's clear as day to me.
No, I
What do you-
understand the strategy.
What do y'all think about going at Mike Collins and blowing him up with emails? What do y'all think
I
about
think
that?
it's a waste of time. Well, emails, yeah, go ahead. He's a politician, brother. Yeah, he jumped in Pete Buttigieg's ass when we were down there. Yeah, he did. That's did it help? I don't know.
Well, I can tell you what would help real quick. Congress would be up their ass real fast telling them to fix it, like now. There wouldn't even be a hearing. It would just be like, fix it now. Again, we never shut down for COVID. Okay, we were essential frontline workers. We never got stopped at any border and told that we couldn't go any further. But civilians did, and they were stopped from going in Florida if they didn't live there. It's not a joke, okay? They didn't stop us. They just went, come on through. We can't stop you, whatever. And I'll tell you another one they did. How many people have been shut down in Wyoming and you can't get through? It was so effing essential that you got a police escort with a snowplow to get through Wyoming on the back roads on 30. Okay? So that was how essential it was not to shut down the infrastructure of the trucking industry, and they simply could not shut it down, no matter what the threat was. Okay, life-threatening. It was life-threatening. Millions of people are going to die, but we're not going to stop you from running. In fact, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and take your logbook away, and you don't even have to worry about hours of service. Okay? So maybe it's time that we have our own pandemic, because COVID is shit.
They don't care.
Then the people would be banging on their door. Then they would care. Where's my food? That's what I'm saying. That's what it's going to take. Either they're going to see it coming, okay? Because I'll tell you, I said November 16th. Mike said November 1st. I just think we need more time to organize and get all of the ethnicities out there, Spanish, Russian, all of the people that don't even know what the hell is going on right now on board, so that this industry actually comes to a screeching halt. I promise you, the first day that it happened, shit would be changing, and they wouldn't be screwing around anymore, because they got 3 days before it'll take them a year to fix.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. Jamie, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, brother.
Can
you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, man. Go ahead.
No, I just wonder if you can hear me, man. Like I said, I don't have a lot to say, bro, Mike. I'm pissed, man. I'm not happy. I can't do nothing but talk shit right now, brother.
I got you. We were talking earlier, a couple of hours before we went live, and you see that? You see that? We were just talking. And look, this is the type of shit this government does.
This is chess. This is chess, dude. This is not checkers. This is chess.
It's chess.
I believe that you can make an impact of going back to that committee. And I would ask Carl to see if we can get a hearing to actually show in that committee and tell them the job loss and show them the American people aren't going to be happy. And then you threaten them with the shutdown. Us talking on here, us talking on Twitter, I don't know that it's going to be as impactful. You go down there and you got any kind of support between SBTC, NOAA, and the other organizations that are going to actually support it, you can throttle them. You can make them slap them in the face. So I believe that there's more of a chess game here and more moves than we know.
Well,
I will speak to our people down there tomorrow. That has been floated already, and I believe you are correct. But I believe it's going to take a lot more than us speaking to a committee. I think it's time that people actually did. People shut down. I'm not even gonna. I don't know how else to say.
We need action.
People need to show.
We need action.
Regulators. People need to show the regulators that they have the power. That is all I could say on this. I don't know.
Well, listen, I got to step down.
What else? Yeah.
I got to step down, but yeah, I would love to talk about and see the reaction out of Lamb and what kind of support and come up with the evidence to go in front of that committee. That committee is the governing body over the FMCSA. Right. Bottom line. So you know what? I mean, now we start calling them out and go in front of them then. And, broadcast it across Twitter, and we're going to embarrass you guys, and we're going to manipulate your votes, and we're going to manipulate your money. So let's, let's start playing hardball and chess.
you
Marlon,
John, you know what?
I'm calling you Marlon. John, I appreciate it. I appreciate everything MAGA Mission and you are doing, and Matt. And I'm glad you guys can see the corruption and the bullshit that we've been dealing with. And I really do appreciate it. You've been on the front lines with me. You've been in these congressmen and senators' offices with me. You see what we're dealing with. We're dealing with outright corruption. We are dealing with outright corruption. And I don't fake jacks, man. I try to be honest with everything, and I've been very honest and transparent about everything that the National Owner Operators Association does on behalf of owner operators and trucking. And I am disappointed. I really am. I don't know what else to say. As an American today, I feel like I've been let down, and I'm very disappointed. I don't know how else to put it. The system definitely does not work for truckers. So, I
really believe this is going to put a lot of pressure on Uada and Todd Spencer.
Maybe not. I don't know. I do not know. We are fighting. The National Owner Operators Association is fighting. People see it with their own eyes. We are fighting. We are not giving up. We are willing to take this to the bitter end any way they want to do it. We're fighting. This is definitely a disappointment, but we're open to all suggestions.
There's highs and lows, man, and I'm telling you, there's more chess moves than we know, and we just have to utilize them. And I'm game to find out. I would really like to go in front of that committee. I think that's what needs to happen first. So, thanks, man. Talk to you this week. All right.
Absolutely. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Marlon.
Oh boy. Well, John is a major supporter of truckers. He's a major supporter of owner operators. MAGA Mission is pretty much our only outlet to get information out there, because as you can see by his own words, people like Alex Mai and Mother Trucker, they are not friends of truckers. They're friends of business. And as long as it doesn't get in the way of business, they are okay with it. But the injustice to truckers, they could care less, right? Transparency is not very important. right? If it's going to make someone late to work, or if blocking a highway is going to inconvenience someone, they don't agree with that. He doesn't agree with that. And the bottom line is it seems like that's where we are right now. Like that's the next step. It's like when people work for a company and decide to strike, it's whatever, you know, it's whatever has to be done. You know what I mean? I can use an example of the Amazon facility over here in Staten Island near me. They are one of the only Amazon facilities that successfully voted to create a union. Was that easy? The guy who did it was fired when he announced it. And he only did it because he was defending someone who was unjustly fired in the same facility. In a facility that notoriously treated all of their people like shit. So he went into the parking lot every day, unemployed, and asked people to start a union at a company he was just fucking fired from. He got his job back now. So did the other person that was fired. But sometimes it takes those kinds of balls to get things done. And I just think everyone needs to find their balls. That's it. You know, that's all I could say on that. You know, everyone needs to find their balls, or find another fucking job. That's it. You know, because if you think trying to survive now, paying $5 a gallon for diesel fuel and not being able to afford tires and not being able to pay drivers is hard, wait till 6 months from now when you're paying $7 a gallon for diesel fuel. See how fucking hard that is. When brokers are taking your fuel surcharge and still taking 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% out of the load so they can buy a new fucking Range Rover.
They've been taking the fuel surcharge.
I'm trying to hear all the fucking laughs and chuckles and giggles that I've been hearing for the last fucking 7-8 months. It's not funny no more, right?
Ain't even fucking remotely cheap.
Because now many people are going to have to start thinking about that plan. What's the backup plan? Because you will
What's the
fail.
exit strategy?
You will
What is
fail.
the exit strategy?
There's companies out there that have been around for over 100 years. Some of them 100 years, 80 years, 50 years. They're failing, filing for bankruptcy every day. You've been doing this, what? 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? You think you got a better plan than they did? You think you're smarter than Yellow? Is that what you're saying? No, you will fail. And that's exactly what they want. You to fail. So mega corporations can get your lanes, get your loads, get you to drive for them for shit money.
Hell.
You got to ask yourself, where's your ball? That's what you got to ask yourself. What happened to all those guys that were down in Washington a couple of years ago, parking their trucks in front of the White House? Where are those guys at? Anyway, let's go to some of these comments. Maybe you.
Let's go. Let's fucking go.
Obviously, they don't. That's something concerning ELDs. Mine is set at 60 miles per hour average, no matter how fast or slow I drive. Wow. They were bought and paid for. Yes, they were. And This is public information. Go to opensecrets.org and you can find out exactly who bought them and what they were paid. They already have, to their benefit, they are in control. They receive from corp. Yes, they do. They make money off stock, so they make sure those businesses prosper. Very true. Very true. Complete stop. 100%. I totally agree with you. 10,000%. Yes, that is the only way. 10,000% agree with you. They
Yep.
did that with COVID. I am 7 days down right now. All right. Be 5 or 6 more November 1st. You a soldier. It is a black shroud they run behind the scenes with a clown up front to distract the masses. Who's the clown? I believe the clown is Hutchinson, Robin Hutchinson. I am going to have our people construct language, put together language, and I am going to ask for her prompt, swift, immediate fucking removal from the FMCSA. She's a failure. She shouldn't have been there in the first place. I Googled truck involved accident statistics. It shows accidents have steadily climbed since before regulations were in place. You're totally right. They ignore reality. Yep. Arrogance, 100%. Arrogance, once again, 200%. Realize those with wealth usually lack intelligence, talking filthy wealth here. In some cases, I agree with that. Unfortunately, total defiance is becoming necessary. And that is very unfortunate, but I once again agree with you 10,000%. I agree with the total shutdown. Absolutely. 150,000%.
I think this year when it comes tax time, none of us just pay our taxes. What's up?
Yeah, exactly. Whatever you need to do, cause problems. That's
Every trucker in the United States when it comes on a 1099 when it comes to pay taxes this year, don't pay them. There you go. That would get their attention, wouldn't it?
No, we can't even pay them. We're not making anything.
I put out for everyone on January 1st, 2024, change work status W-2 to exempt. Can't arrest everyone. Okay. TIA member directory. I think Mike wanted to know who were members of TIA. I don't know. Maybe he wants to send them cards or something, postcard. No transparency on rates, no increase on freight rates, more governance on trucks to get drivers to crumble and become company drivers only. Whoever said that hit it right on the fucking head. There you go. That's exactly what I've been saying. That is their mandate. There you go. Right there. ATA is begging for more drivers. You're going to be driving for someone. So buckle up, Buttercup. This is your future. So that is it right there. Or you'll just sell your trucks and go do something else. Maybe you are a carpenter or something. I don't know. Now you understand why they are pushing for full weapons control to disarm the citizens so they can't fight back. You're probably right there. 30 years. More than a few hundred already just the last 3 months. I think he's talking about people that failed. Apologize. I typed 53 words a minute and that was on a typewriter. Somebody said hello, Jamie.
What's up? How y'all doing? In a bad mood, man.
The entire working. We all are, brother. We all are. We all
Nope.
are. Multi-millions, but correct. We don't need money to shut out the government. No, you don't. You're totally right. I think whoever's responding to this is responding to John's question on how much money we would need to create a PAC. Whoever said this is totally right. You don't need money if you shut down. Our power is there. Our power is in our labor. Our power is in
I got
our
$100 out front to a pack. What's up?
Our
I'll
power.
start it. I got $100 out front to a pack, so we can start a pack.
Yeah, but you have something more valuable. You have something more valuable than that $100. You could keep that $100 and just take your truck off the road and convince other people to do the same.
Bro,
That's
I'm
what
not
you need to
giving
do.
any
Hold
more
on,
money
hold
to
on,
a
Mike.
corrupt government.
Mike, hold on. You can take your truck off the road and convince other people to do the same.
Yep.
That is worth much more than that $100. That is worth more than any pack. You can do exactly what happened during COVID and shut down. That is worth millions in pack money, billions. Take away what they need, your labor and your truck.
Yep.
When Al started, it would have worked if the entire nation walked from the government completely. Open Secrets, that's the website for Open Secrets, an entire nation running in parallel to its government, where people work together to ensure all people have access to necessities, ignoring government completely. Look at what they're doing to people in Lahaina. What are they doing to people in Lahaina? I'm sorry, I'm dealing with trucker issues. What is Lahaina? No one knows. Okay, I guess someone.
It's a country. I can't remember where.
I don't know where that is. I live here. Can't prove it, but I guarantee the big carriers are getting paid well for running loads, but they are not providing for drivers. Well, I mean, that's not hard to prove, that one. Follow the money, you find the problems. Truth. In a year, they can produce more autonomous trucks. Yes. Another reason why they're kicking the can down the road. Those telling you to suck it up and stop complaining, that's the mentality. Yeah. Those are the old heads. It has nothing to do with them being in this business longer than other people. It has to do with the fact that they're defeated personalities. They're defeated mentally. They've learned to accept things for what they are, and they're on their way out the door anyway. So that's what that comes from. Those telling you to suck it up and stop complaining, that's the mentality. You're totally right. These are the old heads. They're not. They're just defeated. You know what I mean? They're finished anyway. You know what I mean? So they know everything. There's nothing left for them to learn. They know everything. Just deal with it. It's market rates. You know what I mean? It's a freight recession. All that is bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all lies. All mega corporation lie bullshit. If you believe that, you're stupid. Here's a good one. You're exactly right. And we're working on that right now as we speak. I had a meeting with two very high-powered attorneys today in Manhattan, and we are working on filing a lawsuit against one of the largest freight brokers in this country and the Transportation Intermediaries Association. So you are exactly right, whoever said that. What do you think they have been pushing for? They want all this to happen. Yes, they do. The final step to communism is to force something so major to happen that all the people look to government and demand they do so. That is when they cab force communism. I think he was trying to say can force communism disguised as socialism. Yeah, thanks. You're probably right. The United States Senator wrote about all this in his book, 1977 book. None dare call it conspiracy. I'm going to check that out. Let's see. We got a lot of comments here for some reason. Americans are fighting. Really? Not down at the border in Texas. Not the truckers.
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. No.
They fighting what?
No.
I'll be down there day after tomorrow. I'm headed to Laredo, yo.
Yeah. I want to post flyers in different languages on every fuel pump, letting everyone know to shut down November 1st. Who said that? That's exactly what we need to do. And that's what we're going to be focusing on. That's what we need to do. We need to start promoting the shutdown for November 1st. Thank you for that idea.
Yeah, but it's no longer an option. We need to make it that is what is happening. We are shutting down November 1st. They have put they put their cards on the table. Now it's time to put ours.
No one pays taxes. Major step. I agree with that. IFTA. F them. Don't pay that shit. You pay that too with Mother Trucker. You caught that too with Mother. Yes, I did catch that with him. It was he basically nailed his coffin shut on that one, in my opinion. If you did not see the episode of Mother Trucker from 10 days ago, it is titled Asking 3.5 Million Truck Drivers to Shut Down and Block Highways for a Month. I need to explain. Now, I need to explain.
For how long? How long?
A week.
Let me say this. Back in March, when Alex did that show with me, we had a conversation before the show and after. And both the conversations were the same. He let me know exactly what he said here in this show from 10 days ago. This was me and his conversation back in March, the day I did that show on with him. He said he did not agree. He said he agreed with my approach of boycotting TQL, JB Hunt, and CH Robbins. He said what he did not agree with was protests. People blocking highways, parking their trucks in the road, blocking bridges, shutting down. He said he did not agree with that. I said I understood, but I did not agree with it. I agree that any means necessary needs to be seriously taken under consideration when you are in a situation like we are in right now. 49 CFR 371.3 is not a suggestion. It is a rule. It is a law that is on the books, and the regulators are not enforcing it. Like any other law or any other rule that is on the books, the cop on the beat is ignoring it. And that is wrong. And if it happened in any other place, in any other industry, it would be addressed. But it is not being addressed in the trucking industry. Why? Because the trucking industry is a sham. The general freight side of the trucking industry is a sham. From top to bottom, it is a sham. It has been a sham for the last 43 years. And it only gets worse year after year. You get treated like a piece of shit, and freight brokers make billions of dollars a year, sitting on their ass in offices every day, talking to you like a fucking dog on the phone. And shippers get cargo shipped for free. That's why you have places like Walmart, Target, Lowe's, all these other big mega corporation, big box stores, Costco, BJ's, because they get discounted freight ship because we're stupid enough to move it for them. We're out here hauling loads that are worth millions of dollars for $700, $1,000, $1,500, while that entire load behind you is worth $500,000, $1 million, $250,000. Just take the fucking load and take it to Canada. Problem solved. Sell it all on eBay. Problem solved. It's funny. All summer, this summer, I've got a few miles from here. There is an empty lot on a major stretch of expressway, and that lot has been empty for a long time. It's a big lot. There was a big restaurant there, but the restaurant shut down. And all summer, almost every day, there was an Amazon truck in that lot. And the guys in the truck were selling Amazon boxes. They were telling people that they were those secret boxes or whatever that you can buy for cheap online. But in reality, I was driving past there one day with my family, and my wife said, "Why is that Amazon truck always there? Look at that Amazon truck and those guys selling those Amazon boxes. What's going on?" She said, and they had a sign. They said secret. They had a sign, secret. Amazon, whatever the secret pallets or whatever. And people were running over there in droves. They were standing in line buying all these boxes. They didn't know what it was in them. They were selling the boxes, 3 boxes for $50 and, 5 boxes for $150 or $100 or whatever. And they were out there every day, all summer. And I started laughing when my wife mentioned it to me. I said, they stole that shit. They
Stole the whole trailer.
They worked for Amazon. And they stole that shit. They were there in regular box trucks, Penske trucks, budget trucks, trucks that they own. These guys were setting up accounts with Amazon, right? Getting those loads, stealing them, and taking them to this lot over here and selling the merchandise. They were doing it all summer. They must have gotten away with. They were out there for at least 4 months. They were out there. I haven't seen them in like 2 months, so they obviously, the cops finally got them. But that's what they were doing, and that's a perfect example of people that got tired of getting ripped off by a mega corporation, and they took matters into their own hands, and they stole their shit and sold it. Yeah, with Mother Trucker, I did see that. The media source
Did you
needs
see
to be concerned by the truckers in order to see and hear the truth. Force the hands to work in the truckers' favor. The media is not on our side. It is on the corporation side. Noah has been blackballed by people like Alex Mai and Mother Trucker. He does not mention our names. I think Jamie can tell you what happened with him down at the Texas Truck Show when Alex was there. Jamie, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, he was cordial. I went over and spoke to him. He was cordial, shook my hand. We took a little video together. But I mean, if you go back to one of the shows last week, he straight said on there he was a coward. I mean, he told the world, "I'm a coward. I'm a scaredy cat. I'm a coward." So I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, he was cordial. I mean, I went over and talked to him. I actually took him a hat and said, "Here, this is from Mike Boston. Give him a sticker and a hat."
Let me tell you something, Jamie. Every senator and congressman I met down in Washington last week was cordial.
Well,
Fuck them. Media is controlled. They lie about everything they report. 10,000% correct, whoever said that. Look on YouTube, Harbeck 2000 channel. I put the proof there in 2011. Okay. Find a media source on Newsmax, the Trump TV station, where the truth always comes out. We are looking into that. The problem is the FMCSA has become so corrupt by greed that it is an almost impossible for the plebes cannot fight back because they don't have unlimited money. The owner operators are treated as slaves to the machine until something big is done to show who really has the power. And the megas and other company drivers are not immune because those are next on the chopping block. When megas have outlived their usefulness, they will be thrown under the bus to usher in the autonomous vehicle. Preach.
Nah,
you are totally correct. 100%.
Megas own the autonomous vehicles. They're just switching over.
We have to walk. Live without following government demands. Everyone ignores speed limits. Why not the government? That is the answer right there, in my opinion. Harley, just letting everyone know, Harley said that. He wanted to make sure his name was on that. Hawaiians. Yeah, you're right. Now I got you. The Hawaiians, that issue, that question, that statement that was brought up there. Yes, they did ignore Hawaii. Bathroom stalls too. Yes. Butt liquor. Okay. It's like, I feel like that guy from that movie, the anchor man. I'll read anything that comes on the teleprompter. Fuck you, San Diego. Kiss my ass. Tried being a carny worker, $370 a week, 16 to 48 hour days. Carny workers make over 360 million a year. Clear. Carny workers.
Carnival workers, bro.
Yeah, no, I know. Carnival workers. I'm just
hey,
trying.
I run away
I'm
with the
just trying to
carnival when I
crunch
was
the
16.
numbers. That those numbers aren't adding up for me.
No, they don't add up.
Right.
They're
Yeah,
retarded.
when I was 16, I left with the circus, stayed gone for a couple 3 months.
Yeah. What was the ruling? There was no ruling. Sorry if this has been asked. I joined late. Can we sue the FMCSA for failing to enforce regulations, Blake? I don't think you could sue a government agency.
No.
Alex, my butt liquor. Totally correct there, sir. Would you like to buy a shirt? Maybe a nice mother trucker hat. Oh boy. Hey, at least he's honest. Hey, he's got 500,000 YouTube, 494,000 YouTube subscribers. I worked one 2015 to 2019, and that is the end of the comments. Who wants to go first? Hey, Tim is here. Go ahead, Tim.
I think he froze up.
Hold on.
Practicing being a mime.
Oh yeah.
There we
yeah.
There we
Tim,
go. Hey, how's it going, guys?
Tim, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, I've been listening to you. I had to switch over to this real quick because Facebook doesn't allow me to switch screens, and like have the GPS going, or I'm at the Catskill and I have the Weigh My Truck app, so I don't have to, go in and get a printed ticket from them. So
That is awesome.
yeah, it is. But yeah, I've been listening. I woke up and because I'm gonna be driving all night tonight, headed down to Arkansas, and I seen what you guys posted on Facebook. About this being drawn out a whole nother year. And Texas is right. We can't survive another year. Most of us are going to be out of business by then. So, and then there's going to be a whole new group of people,
And that's our
coming in,
plan.
yeah, fighting for higher rates and transparency and everything else. And it's just a revolving door that needs to stop. November 1st.
Yep.
Shit's getting shut down. That's all I can say is shit's getting shut down.
I don't know if you got a shiny hiney on the back of your thing. I got chrome doors, and I'm spray painting the shit on my door. And wherever my truck goes, it's gonna be out there. I'm gonna put my CB back in my truck so I can start getting a hold of people. And I mean, I'm just gonna start flooding all of the places that I visit or whatever with messages, because I mean it's done. I mean, we just need to shut the fucking thing down. We're done. That's it.
Yep.
No
And,
more motherfucking threats. No more, this is gonna happen or this is gonna happen. This is what is going to happen November 1st. You can decide from there how long it's gonna be, because it'll be shut down until October 31st.
I
Fuck
mean,
them.
people need to think about it, and they need to ask themselves, if they can do something like this to truckers, forget about trucking for a second. What if it was something concerning your children? You know what I mean? What if it was something concerning a life and death issue that you were hoping for a ruling on? You know what I mean? If they can do something like this to truckers, imagine what they could do to something concerning one of your children, or your home, or your right to carry a gun, or your right to look. It's incredible, man. It's incredible. And I'm sitting here thinking, is this a free country? I mean, when is
It's an illusion of one.
When is
illusion.
enough? When is enough, man? I don't know what else to say. Like, when are truckers, owner operators going to say, yo, that's it? Like, I had enough. I'm tired of doing loads for shit money. Why? This load is paying $2,300. Why am I only getting paid $1,000? Where's the other $1,200 going? I seen a post the other day in one of these Reddit groups with one of these broker groups on Reddit, and it said every parking lot at a freight broker's office, every parking lot at a freight broker's office building, and it was a row of like 10 Range Rovers, brand new Range Rovers, all different colors, in the post. They're laughing at you. They're laughing at us.
They better trade in their Range Rover and go buy themselves a truck and get themselves a CDL, because they're going to be doing the fucking job in a minute.
But that's
They
just
want it
talk,
delivered.
bro. That's just talk. We have to step that game up past talk.
That's what we need to do.
We need to step this up past talk, man. Honestly,
Yep.
we really do. I'm tired of talking. I'm tired of asking, and I'm tired of talking. We need to step this up. You know what I mean?
I agree there.
I'll look more into this case, but yes, it is possible to sue the FMCSA. I've never heard of that, so yeah, I guess I'm wrong. You're right. Absolutely, you could sue the FMCSA. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you better have a lot of money to do it, which NOAA doesn't have. I mean,
ADD is right. No more
Fucking
idle threats. hold their fucking feet to the fire and shut the bitch down. Yep. Be
There you go.
careful reading. None dare call it conspiracy. The truth was right there in the first 3 chapters. I had trouble reading the rest of the book, but I managed. The take from it, all aspects to communism are pointed out, and all but the last one had taken place as I was reading it. The last one was a major event, getting government to take full control, shutting all industries down where people struggle. You realize that last one is about to take place. Okay. When will people say enough is enough? They won't until the last one who once made money can no longer make it. Then when it's too late, they'll want to put a stop on it, and it will be too late. Exactly. That's exactly right. You're totally right. We were just talking about that before. When people finally realize that this shit is not going to work for them either, then it's too late. Then it's too late.
I pointed that out earlier with the speed limiter, because I had somebody say, well, it doesn't affect me because I got me a 1999. And I says, yeah, well, when they say that no more trucks are allowed on the road older than 2003, then it's really going to affect you. But guess what? We're already affected, and we don't care what happens to you because we are already feeling it, and we're already out of business. So guess what? You're on your own. So you either stand up now while you got support from the people that are going to be out of business then, or you just accept that you didn't do shit about it and there's nothing you can do then because the people that it doesn't affect are not going to stand up for you either.
ADD, you're right. And, look at California. California is a prime example of those speed limiters right there. Take the death into consideration. They banned every single truck that doesn't have a 2010 or newer engine in it. So if they can do that, they're definitely going to put, these 2003 and older trucks off the road. They want to go autonomous. These mega corporations want to go autonomous. It saves them money. They could, or they actually make more money. Getting rid of owner operators. There's less of a compete right there. They monopolize on it then.
Well, Timothy, you're missing it. Who's out of business when they go autonomous? All of the assholes driving for the mega. No, all the assholes driving for the mega company. All of them. Everybody. So they can sit there and say, "Oh, I'm not an owner operator. I'm an independent." Well, I mean, you got a choice. Either you wait until we're gone, and then they'll work on making you gone, and you can join the unemployment line with everybody else, or you can stand up now and fight for your right to succeed in this godforsaken world, and you put a lot of time away from your family into your career, and guess what? They don't give a shit about any of that. So I don't care that you're an independent. I don't care that you're an owner operator. I don't care if you're a company driver. It's going to affect you eventually. So either stand up now or sit down and shut up when it does.
Hey, right on, Mike. Yep. Hey, did you read Todd Spencer? Todd Spencer's comment on the ruling today, on the date today. He put it in phrase. This is Todd Spencer's comment. He's got a real potty mouth, by the way. The continued delay is bullshit. Transparency has been required since 1980. Said OOIDA President Todd Spencer when asked to comment. Oh my God. It's incredible.
Well, maybe OOIDA can step up to the plate and join us in actually fighting for the owner operators, not just trying to make a name for themselves and trying to make it seem like they're doing something, because they haven't done a fucking thing at all, period. We know that. We went to Congress. They have no idea what the hell's going on out here. Okay,
Oh.
so OOIDA, just in case you're watching this later, you haven't done shit for anybody. So either step up to the plate or sit back down like a good little bitch and shut up.
You know, the problem is OOIDA, when we start striking, we shut down, OOIDA is going to come in towards the end of it and try to take the credit for it.
Well, that's going to work out real good when you've got, you know, all the trucks that are. What we need to do right now is we need to put Noah's name on it, and we need to get the stickers on the trucks, paint the trucks, whatever the hell it is we got to do to get the word out there on the road that this is the date we're doing it. Because we're spinning our wheels right here. We need to get out in the actual public, and when they ask questions, start giving them the answers. That's it.
Hey, Mike, is Blake in here right now? Do you know if she was watching?
She's watching.
I mean, I'm sure she's on the Facebook, but she's not in this.
No. I mean,
portion.
like watching, not.
She's
I
watching.
can't know.
Yeah.
I'm on a phone and I can't see it.
Do you think? So I'm hoping Blake hears this. If she can put together maybe a printable flyer for me, you know, different languages, one flyer, you know, put Noah's stamp on it and send it over to me. I can stop somewhere and I can have a bunch printed out, and I'm going to start going to every single pump, and I'm going to, you know, every station I stop at, I'm going to put it on the gas pump or the fuel pump. And
we're gonna try to work. We're gonna work on that tomorrow, Tim.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, what you need to do is have it say the strike in English and then have a QR code that goes to all the other languages. Because as you're going to find out, I'm working on that. I'm working on that right now.
Make it class action. Get all truckers to sign on. They'll fall. Okay. Let me get to some of these real quick.
Okay.
Everyone find a few shitbag brokers. Park all your trucks around the streets to their offices. Major shippers block them. Port entrance, ways block them. Scale houses block them. They screw our revenue up. Screw their up. For them, the best way to hurt the already rich is their pockets. That's true.
How about we block TIA? How about we block TIA? Surround TIA, block TIA.
Exactly, Harley. A event like COVID, they keep chipping away from us inside out. Yeah, Jamie, you do have a point there, but I don't think TIA would care too much.
Wouldn't make a difference. They're just an office that lobbies Congress. I mean,
the blockades. When you go in there 2 weeks from now, you let him know what's coming. We'll just call you Wired Earp. When I go in there 2 weeks from now.
When you go to Congress.
Yeah. You know, when I got this news today, I was thinking about that. And I honestly, I was going to cancel the trip, to be quite honest with you. I for a number of reasons. The most important one is I'm angry. And when I'm angry and frustrated, like everyone else, you lash out, you know what I mean? And I just don't want to lash out, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to flip on anybody, you know what I mean? Like, I'm very frustrated right now. And I don't know, man. I'm not Todd Spencer. That's all I could say. I'm not one of these guys. Like, my thing is, like, I'm a trucker. I own a trucking company. I want my trucks to be on the road, and I want to be able to make money running my trucks. I don't want to be the president of NOAA. Do you know what I mean? Like that. I don't want to go to Washington and talk to congressmen and senators. I just want to run my trucking company. You know what I mean? I don't want anyone calling me up and asking me to do a load for $1 a mile, because that's what the market rate is. I just, meanwhile, I'm paying $5 a gallon for diesel fuel. You know what I mean? As
But
far
you're
as
getting it cheap, bro.
as far as the trip in 2 weeks, you know, when I first got this news, I wanted to cancel it. I changed my mind. I'm not going to cancel it. I'm going to speak to our people down in Washington tomorrow. We're going to work out a strategy. You know, I'm going to speak to the other members. I've been texting back and forth with the other members of our alliance, and we're going to work out a strategy. And all I could say is that, you know, I hope people can see now the truth. I think this speaks volumes as to what this government, the FMCSA, the DOT, and Congress, what they think about you. Not very much. They think that you deserve to live like a pig and suffer. And you deserve to lose your company and your business. So, you know, people need to make a decision on what they want to do. Noah is here.
Mike, on a fair note, though, this isn't a Congress decision, or it would have been already, you know, law.
Mike,
this
we
is
spoke to
FMCSA stupidity.
We spoke to them, and we made
this is Pete Buttigieg.
We made our needs and wants very clear. We told them the situation, and we told them what the reality is out here in the real world. We asked them to contact the FMCSA and bring a ruling as soon as possible, and they did.
Yeah, now they need to call them on the committee and tell them it's not acceptable, and they need to do something about it.
Right. I will definitely keep everyone posted on this trip coming up as soon as I have the information. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. I've read this and I love it.
This is probably Hernandez.
Then they came for the trade unions, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews. I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Martin Niemöller. I heard this before. This is very true, and you know, I'm going to leave that up there for a minute because
that's exactly what I was saying.
This is exactly what's happening right now in this country.
Not my problem. That doesn't affect me.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about. And when we do the Twitter Spaces, that's why the Twitter Spaces were so important to what we are trying to accomplish, because this speaks to that. The people on Twitter are not truckers. They are just people concerned with what's going on with this government. And most of them support us, and they understand because this is how they think. And they're smart. I'm not a trucker, but I know if people as important as the people that keep our supply chain moving are having trouble with this government, I know it could happen in my city. If a situation came up that affected me directly, I know they would not bat an eyelash to tell me to go fuck myself. So I care about what those truckers are going through. And that's the reason why I appreciate MAGA Mission in those Twitter Spaces, because that gets our message to the people that are not truckers. And, you know, this is the message that we need to get out there. You know what I mean? This exact message right here. Just because you feel like it's not going to affect you now, that doesn't mean it won't affect you later. So, you know, get on board. Figure it out. The good times are going to end for everyone if you're a trucker soon, if we don't stand up and fight. Thank you, whoever posted this. I appreciate that.
Mike, the Twitter Spaces are great for the people, but it's also been really, really good in getting our name out in political circles.
Yep.
So
It's long. Don't read it out. But people can read it. Without autonomous trucks, big companies will pay huge to operate in California and leave. Oh my goodness. We got a special guest now, and I'm glad he's here. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. James Lamb, President, CEO of SVT.
We got a special guest,
Welcome.
and I'm glad
how you
he's
doing,
here.
James?
Hey, how you guys doing?
How you doing?
Hey,
brother?
James.
Hey,
Yeah, I've been lurking in your little room here, and somebody just invited me, so I figured, what the heck? So
James.
yeah,
thank
so I've
you
been
for
posting
being
some of those
here.
comments, just so you guys know. Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
thank you for being here, James. I'm going to give you the floor because I know you have some a lot to say, and I have to make a little exit here. So, James, the show is yours. This is Chris Bennick on right next to me on top. You've got Texas Trucker right next to you. You've got ADD Michael above Tim, and Tim is right there with the yellow headphones and the red shirt. Everybody, this is James Lamb. James, thank you for being here. I'll be
Hey,
right
it's
back.
my pleasure, and how are you doing tonight?
Good.
So,
Pretty
so
good.
so
Other
listen,
than the
Appreciate you
stupidity of the
stepping up.
FMCSA.
yeah, I've been listening to your show this evening, and this news is just, obviously very disappointing. And we really thought that this was about to come down the pike. We've been waiting 6 months, on top of the 3 years since we did this filing, and I'm not sure what to say at this point. And as you guys most eloquently stated, TIA is on the Hill right now. And so, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that you put two together here, and otherwise the timing is just, phenomenal. It just happens to happen like this.
They've been out there greasing the wheel, James.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they better have a lot of trucks because they're going to need them.
Yeah, well, like Mike said, this is not bad news. This is not, a denial or anything like that. And like you said, they know that they have to find in our favor. I mean, we have 70 years of regulatory wisdom behind us, and we've made all the arguments. And I got to tell you, I have made so many filings to FMCSA over the last 6 years. And they have denied every single one of them except for this one. So when they approved our 3.5-year-old request back last March, that must have them so badly that approved it because you couldn't deny it on the merits, But what they can do is, like Mike is saying, kick the can down the road, and so. This is unacceptable. And, Todd Spencer was out there today, and John from John Gallagher from Freight Waves basically, blew the whistle to Todd and I at the same time. So we both commented, and, we gave them our quotes, but, we're all angry about this at this point. And you heard BS or bullshit, and then tonight I said, what? He said, I don't usually like to publicly say that kind of stuff. I talk that way sometimes in front of my own group, on Trucker Lives Matter Facebook group. But I said, you know what? I'm going to go on and I'm going to tweet the Secretary of Transportation, Secretary Pete, and I'm going to say I agree with Todd Spencer, and this is bullshit because it is. I mean, and let's just call a spade a spade. This is unacceptable, and that something at this point has to be done. And I'm not sure exactly what it is. All frustrated with members of Congress that get us to death, make us think they're on our side as we walk out the door, hang up the phone. We all get the same lip service, and then comes to shove, and time is for us to finally say, okay, so you're going to write that FMCSA and say, hey, speed it up, right? Or you're going to spot Transportation Intermediaries Association bill, right? You get either no response, or you get, oh, we're still looking into that, we're working on that. You have to harass them so badly for them to tell you the truth when the answer is no, that it's just unbelievable that they can operate that. Swamp is so thick, and there are so many snakes and alligators in this swamp. And I got to say that we typically, Mike will tell you as well, when we're having these meetings, typically we're starting with these staffers. Sometimes we make our ways up, to the actual, members of Congress. And if you get a senator, wow, that's amazing. But usually it's a 22-year-old, right out of college, staff, and his job, he got 5 minutes ago, and he sympathizes because when you listen to the story and you listen to the plight of drivers, it really all makes sense. And if you have a heart, you listen to this stuff and you say, wow, this really makes sense, what you're telling us, what you're asking for, and I'm going to go pitch my boss. And I think they do. I really do. And then I think that they get a dose of the reality of the swamp, and they don't realize that they've joined the swamp or to work in the swamp, but sooner or later these guys all get, the bubble bursts. And I think that they realize that the idealistic version of public service and the realism of working in Washington, D.C. for these politicians, they probably get as disappointed as we are when their bosses go the other way. And,
Not too bad.
this seems to be about money and about influence. You guys were asking how much money would it take, and I comment on some of these chat rooms, and for some reason Facebook is blocking me. I don't know exactly why that is, but so it takes a while before some of them come through, and you can. But
as soon as I see them blocking you, James, they just block like 4 of them. I just
Yeah, I know, man. I know. No, I wrote to Jamie, a few minutes back, and I said, hey, this is what I'm seeing, but I think he was behind the wheel. So
I'm driving, brother. So I'm usually on top of it, and I catch it when I can.
Yeah, I can see it on the screen. So I said, I can't read that right now. So don't text. But so answer much. Mike, you hit that on the head. I don't know if that was you figuring that out. We had a conversation about that, but I mean, you're a street guy, and you know the way this stuff works. There's money on the table, and there's money under the table. It's clearly under the table. Because you cannot buy a United States senator for $5,000. I don't believe that that's possible. I will tell you that I gave Marco Rubio at least $10,000 of my own money as a sponsor, or whatever you want to call it, a donor. And I raised $50,000 from him during his presidential campaign. And it was all trucker money. It was $5 and $10 here and there. And there's no way that if I gave him $50,000 through my fundraising efforts, that TIA bought him for $5,000. There's just no way. So I have no idea what's happening under the table. I don't give money under the table. I don't even like the idea of giving money, to buy a congressman in general, in terms of lobbying. That whole thing just makes me sick. But that was about his presidential campaign. It had nothing to do with any of the legislation that we had going on at the time. It was just, I thought that guy would make a good president, and then Trump, came in and a bunch of other people, but that was back, he jumped in April of 2015. And so, I don't know what goes on under the table, but, I think I posted on there that TIA gave like 180,000 in the last cycle for 2022. And that's on the record. That's donations through their PAC. I'm not going to make any accusations about any particular organization. All I know is that it doesn't make sense that the amount of money to each individual people can really buy the level of influence that blocks us and disregards the merits that we know we have on our side because FMCSA agrees, right, for the first time forever. So, it's crazy. It's just crazy whatever is going on here and what's happening. So all I can tell you guys is that, of all the different potential solutions, whether it's political or whether it's, legal or whether it's regulatory, keeping the heat on, trying to spread the word, that trying to get more people involved is the only answer. And the real message, beyond these messages that I'm trying to put out there, like restraint of trade, unreasonable restraint of trade and evasion of regulation and manipulation of the market and antitrust and price gouging and price fixing, all of that stuff, it's all important in terms of the merits, but the most important thing is to send the message. And I said this to that guy, Dirk, that you hooked me up with last week, Mike. I said, listen, I don't know how much money's involved. I see, what's on Open Secrets, but I said, the money exists so that you can buy advertisements so you can get votes. Right? And so money is important, but the end game is to get the votes. We have 3.9 million truck drivers in the United States, and we have the potential to tap those votes, and we can tap those votes to your advantage, or we can tap those votes against you and to your adversary. So we would respectfully request that you consider what we're saying, because, whereas TIA may have the money from these big mega 3PL, mega brokers, we have the potential to tap the votes. And we're going to do that. And we're going to do that through SBTC and other organizations that we're partnered with, like NOAA. And we're going to do voter registration drives. We have that already in progress. Truckervote.com, and we also are, going to issue a voter registration, or I should say, a voter recommendation guide, and we're going to point out, just like NRA does, who is pro-trucker and who is against truckers. And God help you if you come out as not in favor of truckers and you're taking money from TIA, because your grade is going to be, we used to say, A, B, C, D, E, F, right? I think you're at Z at that point if you're in that situation. So, we don't want to, have to threaten people, but it's kind of at the point now where we have to put all the cards on the table and say, listen, truckers are pissed off. They're pissed off because they can't operate their trucks. They can't operate their trucks safely because of the fact that you can't operate under $2 a mile. And in April, we were seeing 54 cents a mile on some of these lanes, on some of these load boards. Who takes that? Who can? Other than somebody who's trying to get home for their daughter's, birthday party. And you're taking a loss, but it's better than deadheading. Otherwise, you can't operate a truck. And whoever was out there on May Day this year, with TMJ and Billy Randall and Bill McKelvey and all those guys, Nick, somebody was there and somebody said to Robin herself, he said, listen, I can't afford safety. And so when Chris Burrows from TIA, who's whining and dining some right now at this hour, on the Hill, when he says that, safety is in your name, stay in your lane, FMCSA, in his article in Outbound Logistics. I mean, what kind of bullshit is that? Of course it has to do with safety if the rate is not high enough. And it's not a real low rate for market conditions. It's just that the broker's trying to take 50%. Goldman was out there in May of 2020 telling us 16% is their average, right? And we saw TQL documents that showed 55%, on one particular load. You all saw that picture that was floating around. So come on, the only reason why you don't disclose when you're a broker, you don't disclose what you're earning is because you're hiding something, and it's unusual. It's not reasonable and customary. It's not done in any other industry in America. Real estate brokers, stock brokers, insurance brokers, they all tell their clients what their commissions are up front. And, the message I've been trying to get out there is mind-blowing, because brokers in this day and age, in 2023, are not really brokers. They're investors, and they're engaged in the buying and selling of transportation services in two different markets simultaneously, and that is an investment strategy that's called arbitrage. They're flipping the equivalent of houses. They're flipping freight. And they want to be called brokers because if they're brokers, then there's a bar to entry. There has to be a license and a bond. Hey, let's raise the bond as high as we can so that no other people can compete with us, is what their mentality is. Forget about the trucker's perspective and OIDA and all that. Hey, Mike, we've had that discussion about, the broker bond should be higher. But think about the organization that represents brokers asking for more regulations on brokers. That doesn't make any sense. That would be like Charleston Heston when he was the head of NRA asking for more gun regulations, right? I mean, it's unheard of. So there was an ulterior motive there, and it was not to defeat fraud, it was to defeat competition. So these guys, are bad news. And they're out there and they're wheeling and dealing and they're doing their thing with their money, but you have to overpower them because you outnumber them. There's 100 guys at best that are executives of 3PLs that are in Washington right now. You have 3.9 million on your side. And, the idea is to get them to all get together on this common brotherhood cause. I'm the guy who posted a few minutes ago that Holocaust, statement, because that's really what this is about. That whole thing about, I'm not a Jew and therefore, I didn't speak out. That's a very famous Holocaust poem, and it's very eloquent and very apropos for this particular moment in time in this industry. I'm not an independent driver. I'm not a owner operator. I'm an independent owner operator with my own authority. I'm just a company driver. So that's not my problem. Yeah, well, somebody pointed out, driverless trucks is going to be your problem in a few minutes, right? So, it's time to speak up, and everybody has to speak up. Everybody's going to have their own way to do it. Some of you guys talking about strikes and shutdowns, and you do what you got to do. My philosophy is a little bit different when it comes to that, and I'm bound by certain regulations, according to our lawyers, about being able to advocate for shutdowns and stoppages and all that. But all I can tell you is that this has to be approached from as many different angles as possible, and this is do or die time. Now, this is for a lot of you guys, and you all know it. I mean, you're saying it all night long. So, all I can tell you is that there are those of us that are pursuing legal strategies. Mike and I are working, together on this guy this firm in New York, and turning that over to Mike to move forward with that. and the political angles we're working together on as well. The FMCSA stuff, up until today, I was kind of warning everybody. I was saying, listen, FMCSA seems to be on our side. It's coming any minute. Don't make them out to be the bad guy. They already threw TIA under the bus. We can use that to our advantage. So tread lightly. But now after today's news, they're kicking it down the road another year. I mean, what is that? That's just not right. So now, everybody's got to do what they got to do at this point, and tell Congress, look, this is unacceptable. This has to be resolved. Out there are proposed legislation. It's been out there for 6 months. We cannot get somebody to sponsor it. Most of the time when we talk to these people, the first thing that they do is they say, what does TIA think about this? We look at them like they're crazy. And, first of all, why should we talk about what the TIA thinks? Who cares? How about just the merits of the bill and whether it's really needed or not? We think it is. And then we say, if you're going to go check with TIA, I think our conversation is over because they don't like it, because it's against them, because they're the ones who are representing these people who are abusing truckers. So, I think our best chance at this point, I thought it was FMCSA, and maybe still a year from now, it'll work out. I don't know, but I think the best chance is litigation. And I think somebody who's going to pick up the ball, where they're not paid, they're just paid on a contingency basis, which means they only take the case if they think they're going to win. That's when that's when you got the right team, because it's do or die for them. I've done class action suits before. I had one a law firm that we worked with. We sued the state of Indiana over unified carrier registration fees, and we sued them for $1 billion. We sued them in the wrong court. We thought the state was going to bankrupt itself, our law firm, which was kind of silly. I thought we should have been in federal court, but we did take them to task. We lost, but that's the kind of thing that the attorney believes that they're going to win. Otherwise, they're not going to invest that money. That lawsuit cost $1 million in legal fees, and that law firm lost that money. So these firms will not take on these cases on a contingency basis unless they think they're going to win. So I don't want to hog up your show here, Mike, but I did want to pop in and just kind of share my thoughts. And I've offered to answer any questions that your members have in the past, and here I am. So if you guys do have any questions, shoot away.
Let me ask you a question, James, please.
Yeah, go ahead, Jamie.
Yes.
That's Jamie.
Yeah, I've talked to James several times. We speak fairly regular on the phone. So, UITA, where do they go from here? I know you know Todd Spencer pretty well. What's his move? Is there any chance of him actually joining the alliance and coming in and taking a spot at the table to unite? I mean, I know that since me and Bill's met back in the beginning, that we've worked a lot behind the scenes to try to unify everybody and get everybody together where we are now. It's been one of our mine and his driving factors is to get everybody together at the table where we can work together. Because, yeah. I mean, that's been our from the start, we've agreed that it was going to take us all coming at different angles to do this. And, we all got different angles. We all work different ways. So, it's important that we work together and each of us do our own thing, but, our goals are the same. So.
Well, we should be all on the same side, clearly. And I'll tell you, I don't know, Mike, if you had a chance to speak with Todd about, the answer to this question, but all I can tell you is that there are these organizations that are there that they've been there forever. OIDA is 50 years old and, gone back to the days of Jim Johnson. And, basically they're the establishment group. A lot of you guys like Trump, right? Why do you like Trump? Because he's not part of the establishment, right? Because he challenges the establishment. Because he says, I've had enough of the bullshit from politicians and who yes you to death and both parties, screw you, and so, there are establishment trade groups that are out there, and those are very clear. They're ATA, they're TIA, and they're OIDA. And so, OIDA does form coalitions every. You'll see them, do letters, and they're signed by other groups that are also, for the most part, smaller than OIDA, but still establishment groups. And our groups tend to be more rebel groups. They tend to be more grassroots related. And so I don't know that OIDA will, bond with us. But I think there's a place for all of these groups. The problem with OIDA is that OIDA is reactionary, in my opinion. And they wait until they have to act. I can point to 2 or 3 instances where SBTC has done something and OIDA has immediately followed and done the same exact thing that we did, and then put out releases and got more coverage than we did, to the point where it looks like they're the ones who did it. And I got to tell you, I read John's article today after he spoke with me and Todd, John Gallagher at FreightWaves, and John all of a sudden did something that is not usually done in trucking media, and that is, he said the petitions were filed with FMCSA back in May of 2020 by SBTC and OIDA, and that's
Yeah, I've seen
unheard of.
that.
You don't put SBTC before OIDA. Now you do if you want to talk about chronologically, what happened, because we did it first, and then, they came and basically said the same thing, and then added a little more 10 days later. But everybody else covers it with, it's just OIDA. Especially Randall Riley and Overdrive and all those guys. They don't mention usually SBTC. Sometimes they'll put in a footnote if we're lucky, But, same thing with the ELD exemption application. Like, we did that in November. I think it was right around Thanksgiving, like day before Thanksgiving or something like that, November of 2017. The next day, OIDA filed an exemption application for ELDs. And I said to myself, wow, that's a great idea. Why didn't I think of that? Oh, that's right. I did think of that yesterday, and I publicized it on the internet, So they tend to, to do, the right thing after they're forced into a corner and do it, And the bottom line on transparency, I don't know how much of you know this, but there was a deal. The deal was back in 2010. OIDA and TIA got together, and OIDA was asking for a broker bond of $500,000, and they went down to $350,000 across the board, no matter what the size of the broker. And TIA said, all that time, raising the bond will not fight fraud. And then they started selling an optional $100,000 like performance bond that was like an elitist bond, right, for their TIA big boy members like CA and TQL. And then they got the idea that if they struck a deal with OIDA, in that case, then they could have more people buy their $100,000 bond. So they all agreed that it should be $100,000. And the deal was that TIA would kind of put in a good word for OIDA with their big broker members, and they would try to get them to accept OIDA's insurance, which was at the time deemed by many big brokers as substandard insurance. And so it was an internal deal. And up until that point, OIDA had been fighting hard on the transparency front because they had been pushing for the Truck Act, TRUCC Act. And it was basically a transparency, bill. And they dropped it. And so they made their deal, and that was the end of transparency. And then in 2014, I popped up after starting the competing group against TIA for the small brokers. And just because I didn't want to see those guys get put out of business by the big boys. And ultimately, we started talking about transparency. And we then said, let's expand our group into a group for all small business, right? And then we created SBTC. And then all of a sudden you see all those, articles from Todd Dills and Overdrive about James Lamb is going to bring about transparency, as the head of the small broker group. And these guys couldn't have that. And so, that's the story behind, the attempted political assassination of my character. And ultimately, it did distract me for quite a few years, but then we came back, and it wasn't just me coming back; it was all you guys that went to the White House on May 1st of 2020 because you had to, and that's when we rang the bell. I went to Micah Jackson at Transportation Nation, and I said, there's this rule nobody ever talks about. It's called 371.3. Why don't you do an article about that? And he did. And by that point, everybody was all pissed off about the low rates. All of a sudden, they found out about 371.3. They never heard of that before. And all hell has broken loose since. And so that's how we kind of got to where we are at this point. A lot of guys have now joined the bandwagon here. And I got to tell you, I always wanted to be the one who was able to say, I got rid of Voltman. And we got rid of Voltman. It wasn't me. It was you guys on May 1st of 2020 who got rid of Voltman. And it was Micah Jackson who, did a job on him and brought out the truth. So it as far as OOIDA goes, OOIDA has a history of making a deal with the devil. That's the truth. I've said it. I've never been sued because the truth is, a defense to, allegations of defamation. So everybody knows it's the truth. We know who was in the room at the time, that heard the deal. So everybody knows what I've said is true. And now OOIDA is back in the game because the SBTC filed a petition in May of 2020, and they said, oh shit, how are we to look if Lamb does this and not us? And so that's when they jumped on the bandwagon. So at this point, OOIDA it's more about, at this point, what should the industry be doing? What should the trade groups be doing, in defense of small business and independent truckers? And then I kind of feel like I should post, well, maybe I'll sue somebody and hope that Todd does it first, right? Does the work for us. Because that seems to be the way that they are. So it's almost like, pulling the strings, but whatever works, for the industry.
Well, I can tell you this, James.
So I hope that answers the question.
I can tell you this, OOIDA's a lot smarter than Freightways because, I've been poking at them both for a long time, trying to get them to open up. And, Freightways did, and they figured out real quick they made a mistake. You know what I mean? So I think the rest of them learned. I can't get none of them to talk to me anymore.
Real quick here, I want to introduce everyone to Bill McKelvey. Hey, Bill, you there? All right.
What's up, Bill?
McKelvey.
Everyone sees his posts and hears him on Twitter. You probably never saw his face, but that is Mr. Bill McKelvey, intimidating looking guy. He was in Pete Buttigieg's face, very close up, just like this, and I think he scared the living bejeebies out of him.
Obviously, not bad enough.
That here, Bill, what's going on, brother?
Not much. I saw the notice come out from FMCSA today, and one of the things that I was really concerned about was that they were going to do something that was not going to be in anyone's favor, including the good brokerages that are out there. And I think that now that I'm talking to you guys about it, I'm thinking that maybe the good brokerages can come together, maybe with us, and try to get rid of a lot of this fraudulent behavior. Today we read somewhere that a broker let me see if I can find it. A broker's bond had been expired, and yet they went and found another bond company and got another bond while the other one just got canceled. And it's just absolutely crazy. They found out, I don't remember how they found out, but once they did, they reported it, and it's not going to be until the middle of next month before their bond is actually shut off. This is nonsense. If you are out of your bond and you basically are not paying people, they're denying paying truckers right now. So how are they still in business and able to book freight and keep going on like nothing's wrong? This is a tremendous failure of the system. And if the FMCSA is not going to do it, then Secretary Pete needs to step up and say, if your bond runs out, you're just not going to operate. That's it. We're tired of playing games. We're tired of truckers being hurt economically and financially. This hurts our supply chain, not only because of the safety issues, but because of everything else that goes along with it. And we could talk for hours about that. But this stuff needs to stop. And my question is, because I'm sorry I'm late. I wanted to be on here early. I was checking on a friend of mine who is involved in the UAW strikes. And while we were talking, the one thing that I said was, maybe they want this to happen. Maybe they want to see just how far they can push the truckers, just how far they can keep not doing anything about us not getting paid for work that we've done. It's actually theft of services. Companies like this one that I'm talking about, how much hatred we can have for each other. And I'm wondering if that isn't part of their goal, is to keep us so separated and not being able to come together and work together in unison, in good relationships. I just have these people keep coming in the industry and keep causing problems and keep the cycles coming into the industry and then leaving out, so that they keep the balance, trying to manipulate the numbers and such. And if this is their plan, then they understand what could possibly happen next. We already saw it in Chicago not too long ago, where the guy just walked and threw off a couple rounds and ended up, I don't remember if he killed somebody or not, but I know he shot 4 or 5 people. I just wonder how much longer the people on Capitol Hill are just going to sit back and not do anything. And the people in these government offices are not going to be held accountable for taking their time and slow rolling it. That was one of the conversations we had at one of the congressional offices, was that they were saying they understand from other sources that the FMCSA is slow rolling this. Well, now they're slow rolling it even more. They told everybody that would be out just a little bit ago. They told everybody their decision would be out this fall, and now they've pushed it off till next fall. Unfortunately, we can't sue them for it, but we most certainly can get into these congressional offices. This is bad. This is bad for the whole country. This is not just bad for trucking. This is bad for the whole country. And the sad thing is, people, I had a long argument today, or a long debate, or whatever you want to call it, where a fellow accused me of being a failure, and running to the government for them to save me. That's hilarious and funny and ludicrous all at the same time. And this is what these guys think. This is what they are promoting. They're promoting that we are going to get this taken care of because we're failing. And I hate to break the news to everybody who's saying that, but that's an outright lie. It's just ridiculous that people don't even. All these guys are doing is what I call surface replies. They're not digging into the meat of the subject as deep as you've done, Mike, or as James or Jamie or myself. We fully understand the issues that are involved with not being transparent. And to me, one of the biggest issues is double brokering. The FMCSA said they're putting this off until next fall. So what are they doing? What's their answer for double brokering and the fraudulent brokering and the non-payment issue? And just like what I just said about that one company, what is their answer? And I'm going to tell you, their answer is nothing. They're doing absolutely nothing to stop this fraud. And that is an injustice to the American people, not just the American truckers, but it is an injustice to the American people because it hurts our supply chain. Every time that a trucker doesn't get paid, every time that someone comes in and gets a broker authority and runs it for 30 days and makes hundreds of thousands of dollars and doesn't pay anybody, and the government doesn't do it, you have to, I was talking with this fellow earlier today, or just a little bit ago, I'm sorry. And we were trying to remember what he said about the government being involved. And it has to do with something with the morality of it. You have to have somewhere a balance of a system that is regulated, because if you don't, then people like Enron can run around forever and nobody will ever catch them. Nobody will ever stop them. And this can be applied to all different kinds of things. When the other thing that's being said that's incorrect is bad business practices. Okay. Anybody can throw that out there. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to throw us off track and get us mad and the whole 9 yards. It's just a bunch of nonsense. Okay. What's that say? Yeah. Yeah. That's funny.
What the hell
No,
does
no,
it say?
I think that's a little
I'm
over-exaggerated.
driving.
but
What does it say?
I just repost them, brother. I don't write them.
So that's what the guy looks like that made Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's funny. But
What
anyway,
does it say? Somebody read it out loud because I'm driving too.
it says, so that's what the guy looks like that made Mayor Pete shit himself, and a bunch of laugh out loud emojis behind him. You guys are going to start this.
Well,
I'm denying
if
it. I'm
Jamie
denying every
and
single
Bill-
bit of it.
If Jamie and Bill walked in that building, everybody'd be shitting themselves.
That's
It
all
was
right.
funny though, Bill.
Yeah, it was funny. It was. But I mean, this has to be straightened out. It has to be, because the other side of this coin could turn very nasty, very ugly. And the guys like myself and Mike and others, we've seen the violence. We've seen people get taken out. We've seen other things happen. And that's not what we really want as truckers. But it feels like the folks that are doing nothing are almost pushing us to a certain extreme, that they absolutely want something to happen. There was a lot of chatter before the January event. And as Mike saw for himself and John saw, and of course I already knew, and anyone else that isn't familiar with the DC area, you most certainly know that there is so much law enforcement presence in the nation's capital. This was something that was definitely planned when they stood down. What was funny was Mike and Nick and I were standing outside of Nick's truck, and we're just sitting there talking, and here comes by an officer. And I can't remember exactly what Mike said. I think he said, "Are you Secret Service or MPD or something like that?" And the guy says, "No, I'm Supreme Court Police." And he's like, oh, so you're something good. He goes, "No, we just don't screw up." And I was like, oh, man, that was such a burn. It was so funny. It was like, he's like, "No, we just don't screw up." And I was like, oh, damn, y'all really feel that way? He goes, "Oh, yeah, there's definite separation here in the Capitol." And I was just like, okay, so.
Yeah, he said, "We don't fuck up."
I didn't want to say that.
Capitol
No.
Police? He said, "Nah, Supreme Court Police." I said, "What's the difference?" He said, "We don't fuck up."
Yeah,
And I was
yeah,
like,
that's right. That was funny. That was so funny. Yeah, that was a definite burn. Yeah. But you know, they if you watch some of the stuff that night, they had the old chief of police on there, and he definitely came. You know, it was up on Twitter too. He was sitting there saying how he definitely went and tried to explain to them the situation that could arise. You know, and we're in the same boat here. We are going to Congress and we are saying. Actually, we went to the FMCSA first, all right? So you had OIDA, you had SPDC first, and then you had OIDA go in, all right? So both of them went to the authority, the association, the agency, the people that basically regulate and govern trucking. And they said, well, we don't see it's a problem, so we're just going to push it off for another year. And you know, it just really makes you wonder what in the world are these people doing? Because not only with them, but Mike, you heard this for yourself. Miss Nelson's up there grilling Secretary Pete about something that happened way before he started the position. The submission of the Metro documents and studies and everything for the expansion, if I remember right, she said it's been over 8 years that they've been sitting on this, and they keep like doing more studies, and this seems to be their thing. And she said something that was very key. It's along the same lines that I said to the guys about the rest areas when we went to like a couple different meetings here in my state. I said, by the time you guys design this and put this together, you're going to be overwhelmed. You're not going to have enough spaces. And they didn't listen, and they didn't want to do it, and they only wanted to include so many. Well, I went out there not too long ago, and they actually doubled the amount of spaces that they had planned in the original plan. So that was something that was good. But I mean, there is such inefficiency in a lot of these government offices. It's just amazing that they ever get anything done. It's like they're scared if they get something done, then they're going to look like, well, then we got to do the next thing in the same amount of time. And the bad thing is when they don't get things done in one administration, the likelihood of it continuing on working in the same direction for the next administration is like slim to none, and it's just very inefficient. It's ridiculous.
Bill, let me interrupt you there for a second because I have a story for you that you're going to like real quick. So I posted over the weekend that it was my 30th anniversary from when I first started working in transportation, specifically for New York Department of Transportation. I was a motor carrier investigator. I was like 24. I think I was 24 years old, and one of my first jobs out of retail, out of college. And so I started this job, and they told me I had to go out and I had to investigate consumer complaints, mostly moving companies, and I had to do audits, right? So this was in New York City, Mike. This was my territory was Brooklyn and Staten Island, right? And so I went out the first week. They let me loose. They gave me a nice shiny state car, and so I'm driving around Brooklyn. And I went and I did like 5 audits. And so I came back. I gave them to the boss, and the boss calls me over and he says, "Who's the boss's boss? The big boss?" And he calls me over. He says, "Lamb." He says his name was Art Marchese. And, he had a Brooklyn Bronx accent or whatever. And
hey, y'all, I got a jet. I just blew a tire. I got a jet.
Damn.
And he would say, "Lamb."
There goes the profit for that load.
He'd say, come on in.
Load,
and I'd say, "What's the matter? Did I do something wrong?" And he says, "Do something wrong." He says, "You did 5 audits in a week." And I said, "I'm sorry. Next time I'll try to do more." He said, "Do more? You out of your mind?" He said, "Everybody else does 2. You did 5." He said, "I can't hand these 5 in. If I hand these 5 in, then they're going to ask why everybody can't do 5. So he said, here's what you're going to do. So we're going to hold on to these 5. I'm going to hand in 2 for you for this week. And then next week, you're going to go to the beach and you're going to hang out." And that's the mentality of public service, of government. And I knew I had to get out of there because I was going to drive me nuts. It's the opposite of being productive. You know, I was a future capitalist that was going to, you know, try to make money and, you know, like all of you, you know, that are operating your own trucking businesses. And I said, it's just not going to work for me. So, you know, that's the mentality that you're dealing with. It doesn't matter if it's state bureaucrats or federal bureaucrats. They go, it's their job. They get a salary. They get their salary regardless of what happens. There's no profit motive, no profit incentive. They're not going to get any bonus at the end of the year. At best, they have a lot of good benefits and they get an extreme amount of time off. So just know who you're dealing with because that's the mindset. They really just don't care. They don't care about your crises. They don't care about your plight. And you're gonna talk to them as if you wish that they would care, but you have to change your expectations because they simply just don't really care. So with that said, I got to get going here. But did anybody else have a question for me? Because I didn't want to cut anybody short. Yeah,
James. So, how did the conversation go with Dirk? Because that's my congressman's
James,
office.
yeah. Oh, so you're the guy from Idaho. You're the constituent from Idaho. Yeah. Yeah, he talked a lot about you, and basically he said, you know, he asked a lot of questions. That's the first, you know, way that we figure out whether they're really interested or not, right? Either they're going through the motions or they're asking a series of questions in a logical sequence. So he did ask a lot of questions. He seemed to be legit. And he seems to be one of those, you know, from my perspective, as I'm an old timer here, one of the younger guys that's a staffer that, you know, is wide-eyed and bushy-tailed and really wants to go out and make a difference and be the idealistic public servant. And so he seemed to, you know, really try to do his diligence and understand what the issues were. We had prepped him before we got on the phone with him, and we sent him a lot of background information early that morning, so he had read it. You know, by the time that that we spoke, it was clear that he paid attention and did his homework. So it seemed like he was, you know, he was really going to go back and argue the case to the powers that be in that office, including the congressman. So I don't know what's going to happen, but you know, at least he seemed to be really going to, you know, he was going to advocate for us. It's what happens somewhere in the middle or at the top, you know, and we checked them out first. We made sure that they did not take any money. You know, I think that congressman has only been around since 2018 from what I remember. So we checked each cycle, 22, 2018, and made sure that there was no TIA money going to them. And there wasn't. So, you know, for all intents and purposes, he looked like, you know, he might really be willing to do something, but it's really a matter of what his boss wants to do. And the problem here that you guys all need to understand that we're up against is, you know, there's various different responses that we get when we talk to these guys. The first is they're not interested. They're going through the motions. Second is they're interested. They're going to pass it up the chain. It gets killed on its way up the chain. The third is it makes its way up to the, you know, the congressman himself, and he says, you know, for all intents and purposes, I should do this, but I'm not on the committee, and so therefore I'm going to tell them, you know, it sounds like you have merit, but you should go find somebody on the committee to argue your case and get them to sponsor your bill. And then when you get to the people on the committee, TIA has strategically funded the chairs of the committees. And so if the chairs don't want something to happen, the members know that you don't dare bring up something against TIA. And in that case, you know, because otherwise you're going to be marked as especially if you're a freshman congressman, and ultimately it's just going to die in committee anyway. So I think that's the biggest problem. Problem is who controls what, you know, gets through committees. And so whether we're talking, you know, about Graves or, you know, even minority leaders, you know, we focused on Eleanor Norton Holmes at one point on the Democrat side as a minority, you know, leader. And we basically looked at her record, and she was taking money from TIA, but once she was no longer in power, they stopped funding her. So we thought she would be great. She was getting the money. They cut her off. She's probably pissed at them, and now here we come in and this is perfect, right? And we spinned it as it was a Democrat issue, because you have to say, oh, it's about, blue collar workers and, middle class. And, we know how to talk to them, whether they're Republican or Democrat, to get, their attention and to get them on our side. And we thought we had sold her, and she didn't pull the trigger either on our bill. So I don't know, what to say other than, these guys. I told Mike, I said, these guys have an art to, either they really do care and it's just going to die above them, or they're just giving us such a lip service that they should get an Academy Award, because man, they make you feel like they're gonna do what you're asking and they're on your side.
Right.
That's their job, to be politicians, to make you like them, so
Yep.
we'll see what Dirk and the rest of that office does, but now it really is about the letter. Now it really is about, contacting FMCSA and saying, come on, guys, I wasn't on that path with you, Mike, yesterday, but today, now it's like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like, it's blatantly obvious now. Like, if anyone had any questions or doubts in their mind, I think after today, they shouldn't anymore. People need to get off their asses and start getting involved, because wow, I mean, to kick it down the road a month or two, okay, but over a year,
Yeah.
that's just blatant. And to do it while TIA is down there.
Yep.
They got there yesterday. They're down there today. They're going to be there tomorrow. It's like, it's blatantly obvious. Like, this is bad, and people need to get active.
Well, I wonder what the turnout was for TIA, because, the whole time we were there, they were talking about the government shutdown and that a lot of the congressional members were not in because of the government shutdown. They were leaving town, or they were, packing up ready to go. So I'm wondering if they did this also because TIA we haven't heard a big amount of a turnout for this. So if they in fact haven't had a turnout like they expected, then this gives them more time to, do whatever they want to do with their lawyers and bring everything together. That's my thought. And it just seemed so very, timing of this is the TIA is there. So someone from the TIA obviously went to the FMCSA and said, look, something's not happening right in the manner and means that we want it to. So we need for you guys to push this back. I can't really say that honestly happened, but that's what I'm thinking. And more than likely, I'm pretty sure that you guys agree that this is what happened. I mean, it just, they took their people and, wined and dined them, or took them to a really nice lunch over at the Waldorf, or, tickets to the Kennedy Center, or, whatever you may have.
In my opinion, Bill, it's obvious that that's what happened.
Yeah.
This decision could have come down last week when James originally asked for it, a date for this. But they didn't do anything. I saw the responses that they gave him back, just basically blah responses. I saw the other responses that he got from earlier, I guess that was today, about a question that he asked about transparency. And all of a sudden, TIA gets there yesterday, and they're going to be there for 3 days. They got there yesterday. Today's the second day, and boom, here goes the response on transparency. Go to hell until next year. So
let me say one thing, Mike, because I think we want to be clear on the factual record here. So first of all, Bill, last year they had 100 people there. They said I don't think they had that many people this year, but they we'll see if they, produce a number afterwards and tell us how many people showed up. But on Mike's point, the record shows that on the 18th, I asked that woman who's in control of this rulemaking docket, I said again, what's up? I wrote her 90 days ago, and now here it is again, another 90 days. And I said, what's up on the 18th? We need to kind of, let our members know. And that's when she gave me that, it's going to appear in the, full unified agenda. And, and there was nothing out yet. And then it looks like the document we found out about today was dated the 20th. So it looks like 2 days later, after I asked, that's when they made the decision to kick it down and date it to essentially, like you said, Bill, almost November of 2024. But they didn't release it until TIA is in town. So I don't think that TIA made this happen today. I think that they prepared it for when TIA got to town, and that way TIA would have some good news that they're going to basically let them stall. And today I tweeted Secretary Pete. I said, you've basically given them a license to evade regulation. That is what you are doing, because you're not addressing this. You are now delaying this, and you are not taking action despite the fact that WIDA has asked you to do so. We have asked you to do so. In the interim, you should be issuing an order that says comply with the regulation. And they're not doing that. And that's why it's so important for, people to write into Secretary Pete and ask under that statute that I referenced on Twitter today, to him, ask for the order. Ask him to issue the order. Now, he probably won't, they probably won't let him. It'll be deferred to FMCSA, but at least you're going on record as having asked. And once you ask, you've basically filed a complaint. And that's why we were, recommending that Billy Randall do that. And I think he said he did file that bill. And we've been thinking about having some other folks, write in. So you guys, if you have evidence that you asked for records from one of these brokers and they denied you, you have the right to file a complaint under this statute, and ask the secretary to issue an order directing them to give you the records and cease and desist from basically obstructing or evading the regulation and trying to waive it through contracts, because they're trying to unregulate themselves or deregulate themselves, and they can't do that. So if you make the complaint to the secretary's office, you cite that statute, and I'll post it, in the thread in a minute here, so you guys have it. And then if he does issue the order, if they don't comply with the order and they continue to do this for the next year, in that case, then you have a private right of action under that law. We don't have to ask for a new private right of action. That's already built in there. And you can ask a court to now direct, let's say, TQL to follow the secretary's order. And if they don't do it then the court, you have the right to have your attorney motion to compel them and find them in contempt of court. And they can be locked up, for failing to obey the secretary's order after the secretary said it and the judge told them to comply. So that's like a backdoor little secret trick, here that we were thinking about doing, and we were hoping that FMCSA was just going to be delayed a couple of months. Now it's another year, 13, 14 months now we're looking at. So, now, and that's when they're going to start the rulemaking. It could take a year to do the rulemaking, because that's how long it takes for them to do these rules. So you're talking not about this being wrapped up in a year. It's 2 years before it's wrapped up, So you guys should be thinking about doing that, putting in that request. If you did a job and they're implementing that clause of that waiver in the contract, and they're using it against you, and they're denying you. They're saying, no, 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 don't forget, you waived your rights. Once you have that email from them, in that case, then you can file a complaint with the secretary, and in that case, then you can ask him to get you the records, to compel them, and to order them to cease and desist from doing this to you or anybody else. We have that complaint against TQL at TIA under the Ethics Commission. We issued a cease and desist to on behalf of one of our members to TQL, and they've blown that off. We went to TIA and we said, all right, now you enforce your own ethics policy against these people. They're blowing that off. So the last thing to do at this point is to use all that information, and we did that in the Billy Randall letter, and show the secretary, look, they're evading the regulation, and no one's stopping them. FMCSA is not stopping them. Congress is not. Department of Justice is not. Office of Inspector General is not. So the buck stops with you, Pete. Pretend it's a pothole and fix this mess. So that's what I recommend that you guys do.
Right.
Well, you see, that's the whole problem. Everybody has heard about it now. That's on the Hill. That's in the upper echelon of these agencies. And just like you said, nobody's doing anything about it. And that's one of the things that I consistently brought up in every meeting we went to. And even afterwards, some of, I just like compounded that, I guess you could say. What's this here? Compensation.
Well, Bill,
that's what that is.
That's why I'm saying, Bill, that we should be asking for Congress, the congressional committees, TNI and Senate Commerce, or their subcommittees like Highways, to hold hearings, and they should be on evasion of regulation, and they should be calling Secretary Pete in and asking him why and you guys were talking about this a moment, in the beginning of this show, you were talking about this. You were saying, don't they regulate the agency? Yes, they do. And so this is the way that you hold them accountable. We want to hold the intermediaries accountable through our bill, Transportation Intermediaries Accountability Act, but Congress can hold Secretary Pete and the bureaucrats accountable. And that's where you guys should be pushing. You should be asking for evasion of regulation hearings, because those hearings will then question Pete again. He got beaten up, last week, and they'll beat him up again. And they'll say, listen, why are you not doing something in the meantime? Why is it taking you this long? First of all, this is from 2020, and now we're looking at not being wrapped up till late 2025. Really?
Maybe.
That's problem number one. But why are you not doing something in the interim to make it clear that these guys cannot do this? And you're allowing them, you're giving them a license to basically steal and evade. And somebody's got to hold them accountable, and Congress would be the right people. If they don't want to do it, if TIA is that powerful, litigation is the only answer at that point. Because then the agency's a problem, Congress is a problem. The only other thing you have left is shaming all these people in the media, with the public, and ultimately hoping that a jury trial, because some of the judges are even corrupt. So hoping that a jury trial in a unreasonable restraint of trade, private action, or one of these secretary enforcement order actions, you hope that a jury will find in your favor. So that's all I got on this. But I got to go. So I appreciate you having me on this evening, and we're out there working with you guys behind the scenes, and with Mike and our alliance, and hopefully this New York class action litigation firm is really going to make a difference, because I think that's the best hope at this point. If they think they have a case, they're willing to do it on a contingency basis, then that may really be the answer, and that way it doesn't take 2 more years to wrap up. So thank you for having me on, Mike, and all you guys, and I'll catch you on
Appreciate
social
everything
media.
you've been doing, James.
Hey, we're a team here, and we got to do what we got to do. This is one of my last, big hurrahs here. I really want us to win this one. I got retirement plans at some point in the future here, but we really got to wrap this one up because this has been going on for a long time. I've been having this fight with TIA since 2010. And, I would like to think that after all the battle scars that I have, from all these fights, that in the end, thanks to teaming up with you and, all the other folks on that alliance, that we finally win one. So win one for the Gipper, as Reagan would say, right? So I'll see you guys.
Yep. See ya.
All right. Take care.
Appreciate you, James. You got an open invitation. Anytime you want to come on, come on.
All right. I'll be watching sometimes in the background and sometimes maybe I'll come back on. So you take care,
Thank you, sir. Have a good evening.
All right. You too.
Alrighty. Bill, that,
Yeah, man.
That snippet that I put on the screen, this
Yeah.
right here,
Yeah.
this is actually my contract with TQL
Okay.
that I signed waiving my rights to transparency a few years back now. I dug it out of my email and I sent it to this law firm that James is talking to, and they are considering filing a class action suit against TQL and TI.
Yeah. Well, if you read this, I put this in the message box over there. It's actually Broker's Small Entity Compliance Guide.
Yeah, right.
it's-
I did see that.
Yeah, so if anybody is interested in that, please, understand that there have been some things updated, but in there, not only with the conversation that all of us had in our little group, but also there's a Twitter group that I have that includes some of the other guys. And it says in there that, and if you read right here, it says terms such as must and will are used to indicate regulatory requirements when an acceptable method of compliance is described in this document. So basically what it's saying is that the brokers will abide, and they must abide by the regulation 371. And they're just not doing it. They're not doing it, and nobody cares. And that's an injustice, like I said earlier, an injustice to the American people, an injustice to the American truckers, and just a horrible way to conduct business. It's just I'm just so frustrated with it. I can't even talk. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
I feel you, Bill. We've been on for 3 hours now, and you guys know my limit is 3 hours. I can't do much more than that. Tim, Chris, Mike, you guys got any questions for Bill? This is Bill's first time on the show, I believe. So you guys got
I don't have any questions.
Second
I
time.
got a statement. I got a statement to make.
Is someone about to put you up against a wall and shoot you? We're not taking final statements, right? No, go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
no, I'm serious. I mean, to me, the time for waiting. I'm just going to ask this: Did the Tea Party members did they wait 2 years for an answer? I'm just curious.
Who members? What
Real-
members?
Yeah, real Americans. Did they wait 2 years for their answer, or did they just do what needed to be done to put people back in line? Because at this point in time, they ain't ever given us an answer. I don't give a shit. I'll park the truck if nobody's going to do anything about it. I mean, if nobody's going to do anything, I'll park the truck right now, put a for sale sign on it, and go get me a boat so that I.
It's a good question, brother. I
Fuck
mean,
this.
I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait much longer.
I ain't
for an
waiting.
answer.
I ain't
I
waiting.
was not. I'll
Well,
be
that's what they're
honest
trying
with
to
you.
do.
I was not expecting what happened today. I really wasn't.
I ain't waiting. I mean, if
I
people.
don't want to wait another day. I'm pissed.
We're either going to do it or we're not. And I'm damn near 50 years old. You're 50 some odd years old. We're done. If this is the fucking industry that they want, then sit down, shut up, and take it. Because autonomous trucks will be taking your fucking job, and enjoy it. I mean, that's all there is to it. Enjoy it. Shut up. You did nothing about it. You cannot bitch about who is in office if you did not vote. You cannot bitch about what is happening in your industry if you sat there and waited on the fence for everybody else, the 12 members of NOAA that started the shit, to do it fucking for you.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you. Drive safe.
I'm almost home, bro. I'm almost done.
Okay. Tell Jesse I said hello.
I will.
Smack that little rat dog of yours. And Tim,
He'll bite your ass.
you got the floor, bro.
You know, I'm kind of right there with you guys all. You know, it's like this news kind of dumbfounded, I guess. You know, I don't really have any words for it. You know, I'm pissed off. I'm stewing over it, and I don't know really what to say about it. You know, we keep on trying to do it the right way, and the right way doesn't seem to be working. You know, I respect what you know, James has been doing, and you know, his approach to it, but I don't think it's going to work. I think we need more aggressive actions to solve this problem, and you know, people need to get on board with it. I believe. You know, I'm thinking about maybe trying to get some loads and hit Washington. You know, maybe meet up with you over there in Washington here in a couple of weeks. You know,
That'd be cool, man.
yeah, you know, maybe more people need to do that too and get over to Washington.
We need to take
Let's,
about
walk
300
in their
pissed
office.
off truckers in there at one time.
You know, it just feels
Yeah.
like I'm pretty much bankrupt. You know, the way that things are going. You know, I'll fucking park this truck on their fucking front lawn, tow it, take it. You want it that bad, take it. I'll fucking park this thing right on their fucking lawn. Like I don't care. You know, with the way things are going. You know, but you know, I do want to say thank you to you guys. You know, you guys have been there. You know, standing up for everybody. You know, had a broker try to come in sideways the other day and fucking Mike, you know, the fucking pit bull fucking destroyed this guy, fucking pencil dick, you know, for the way he thought he was going to talk to me, you know. So I mean, thank you guys for standing up for truckers. You know, it means a lot to me at least. I know that.
I ain't
But if
giving
this
up,
is-
Tim. I'm not going nowhere, brother. I'm not giving up. Bill's not giving up. None of us are giving up, man. You know, the news is fresh, and we're taking it in, and we're gonna have meetings and figure out what the plan is gonna be. We're not just gonna shoot from the hip. We're gonna think about what we're gonna do next, and you know, I'm not the only one involved here. Like James said, you know, we're all working together. Bill, James, Billy Randall, John. There's a bunch of us working on this, and look, it is what it is. They're making it hard because there's a lot at stake here for both sides, and they're going to make it hard. They're going to lose a lot if they lose transparency. So they're going to fight, and we're going to fight back. So as long as everyone is willing to fight, Noah's willing to fight as well. And that's pretty much it. What more can I say on that? We're not going anywhere, brother. So, you know, thank you for the support. And whenever you want to go to Washington, you know, you're welcome to come. Everybody's welcome to come, and you know, hang in there, man. We're all in the same boat, brother. Michael, are you frozen or are you posing for a fucking picture?
No, I'm fucking pissed.
All right, well, good. It took 3 hours to get you pissed, but good.
No, I was pissed the first time you read it. I'm saying, you know, it's fucking done, dude. I mean, it's just, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that, you know, they're gonna hang up on this shit for you know, another 4 fucking years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. Fuck it, we're never gonna look at it. You know, we're getting our pockets lined too much by the fucking TIA. Well,
Mike,
unless the TIA is going to be going out and buying some trucks, hiring a whole lot of fucking people, we just
Mike.
needed to shut it down because the
Mike.
TIA is nothing without us.
Mike, you know the funny thing is, we're standing here begging the regulator to enforce a rule that's been on the books for 43 years, bro.
Exactly. I mean,
Yep.
we just need to stand up. It's a rule. Period. We're standing up.
Do you know
It's
how
either
stupid that
getting it
is?
or not.
Man? I mean,
It's fucking
does
ridiculous.
can anyone? How stupid is that? Like that? It just doesn't make any sense, man. Like what? It's so ignorant, and it breaks your heart. You know, truthfully, I'm not just mad. I'm more heartbroken that this is the country that I live in. These are the people that write the laws and regulate, and this is the country that I live in. Like, this is stupid. Like, why do we even have laws? Why do we have
Honestly,
rules? Why do we have
honestly,
laws?
Mike,
It's ignorant.
I honestly think that this is our last chance. We're not going to make it to another
That's what I said, bro.
season where we're going to be able to do this, and we're either going to do it now or they're going to have plenty of time to do what it is that they need to do to change this law or change that law or take this right or take that right. So if the people that we are representing want to continue sitting on the fence and don't want to do anything about it, I posted the damn link so many times. Blake's, took a lot of time to put that thing together. I found a web page that actually you can write your Congress, whatever, write your Congress. But the simplicity is, if they don't do something about it by November 1st, we just shut the shit down. Period. That's it. I mean, they called our bluff. We either need to, fold and show that we have nothing, or we need to unite and show that we have everything and they have nothing. Because the fact of the matter is, unless TIA is going to go out and buy a shit ton of trucks and train their own drivers, because I won't drive their fucking truck. I'll tell you that right now. I will not go back to a mega company after all this. Ever.
Michael, give me a second here, bro. Let me get some of these up here. I want to get everybody's post up here. They ignore the laws to rake in the money while they rape the workers. Absolutely. People believe they call that the cost of doing business, okay? A way to turn their own words against them. I started voicing out since 2008. I will find out who said that. Yes, here we go. Thank you for correcting me. The correct term is treason. That is the word that my Alzheimer's ass was looking for. Thank you. Welcome to the party, Bill. Bill, you got a lot of fans.
There's only one problem with treason, bro. It's not treason. It's something, but it's not treason.
Has difficulty getting people to understand. Yeah, I agree with that. File complaints seeking an order under 49 USC 147.01B and C 147.04A1. Okay, we'll check that out. Let's do this. We are not going to stop. Somebody had that second cup of coffee. Miss Carmen Love, I can see. Yes, everyone knows Miss Carmen Love. Let's go. I'm ready now. Mr. Stone, you changed your emoji, your picture. I didn't recognize you there. Let's go. I'm ready now. What else we got here? PNOA, I stand and fight with you all. Yes, Carmen, and we appreciate all your support. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Thank you. Against all citizens of the United States, it is treason. Harley.
Not treason.
You don't agree?
It's not treason. Treason. That's the problem with what we're doing. Is
Nah, I kind of agree,
uneducated.
Mike. Mike, I kind of
Treason.
agree with him.
Treason has to be in a time of war, and you have to be helping the enemy.
I don't know that for sure.
Yeah,
I
or look
like
it up.
that.
That's why.
like
That's
that
why it's only
word.
been charged once, and it's actually punishable by death.
You're right. I'll give you that. I don't like giving you anything, but I will give you that. Doesn't take away from the fact I still like that word.
Well, everybody likes
you know,
that word, but we need to find what the word we really need.
We are at war, though. You know, I mean, this isn't a war that's declared by politicians, but this is a war for us.
So somebody said,
Well, isn't the politicians calling this war since they're not regulating?
I think the politicians and the regulators have a ongoing war against truckers.
Yep.
That I after today, I don't even think that. I know that. So
Oh yeah.
Yep.
But it's not
Bill,
like war, like is in maritime war, is what I'm talking about. Maritime war. You know, war against the country.
Bill, somebody said Bill doesn't know who I am by my government name.
Okay.
If the government goes against the people who they work for, they commit treason. You see, that's the point I was trying to Google, but I couldn't find it. You know what? Chris, did you get your last piece in? Because my voice is going. Did you get your last shot in? Because I want to give the mic to Bill. Go ahead, Chris.
So we need to take action. I think we need to take action. I think we need to hit it at the legislation office. I think it's going to take all of us to actually do this on all different sides. Just like James said, we got to hit it on all sides.
I think we should.
That means
I don't have 2 years. I can't wait 2
Go
years.
ahead.
Sorry.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Chris. Go ahead.
that means it's going to take the legislation. It's going to take us shutting down and going to Congress and forcing them to actually force these regulations.
I got a question, Mr. McKelvey.
Yes.
Ed McMahon, thank you very much for those parting words. Mr. McKelvey,
I'm here, bud.
What do you think about maybe trying to do another demonstration at the White House, getting a permit and doing that? What do you think about that?
I think that'd be all right. But we did the demonstration they did in 2020 was on Constitution Avenue. And then the one that we did this spring was right in front of the USDOT building. We got a little bit of action out of that wherever you guys think you want to do it. But I think that you need to have time to organize it and market it. This last thing did not go over well because of the short amount of time and the lack of marketing and spreading it around. I remember when Arlene was alive, she went out and passed out all kinds of flyers to everybody, and so did Ted and everybody else all across the nation. So that was a big movement. The Monday movement, that was pretty big. And I think if we're going to have success, we need that type of organization and strategizing as well. We can do it, but I wouldn't rush to do it.
How much time do you think, Bill?
I don't know, at least a month.
We got a month.
So by the time
guess
we actually shut down,
Yeah.
You guys
get
can
that
be,
permit, and
you
the
guys
day
can be
that
up
we
there.
shut down, we'd be up at DC.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's do it. So
Let's get those
we
flyers
have to
tomorrow,
work
Mike.
on getting that done by November 1st.
Yeah.
Bill, you have
Yeah.
the floor, sir. Final words. Final thoughts. Final thoughts.
I think think we all need to try to get everybody else involved, and not only just calling your congressman, just you need to show up and need to talk to them in person. This stuff of being on social media and thinking that that's going to change things, that's misconception. As Mike saw, and John and Nick and the others that came with us and we've talked to since, you have to be there. And if anybody, I think it was on the space the other night, we said, if anybody wants to go and we're going, let us know. I mean, we've got a place that we rented out, and it's within walking distance of everything.
Very nice. You got that place. You got very nice.
Yeah.
You and your wife got a very nice place, and it was huge. You could fit 30 people in there.
Yeah. It actually sleeps 5, so I didn't know, but I mean, it was a 2-bedroom unit. And I think that, if we decide to go, we can, talk about everybody who wants to go and who could stay where and what. And, if you split it between 5 people, it's not that expensive. And you just, it's an experience as Mike found out when you go in person versus meeting someone on a phone or a Zoom. It's a totally different experience. Just know that when you go, you need to try to conduct yourself in a professional manner and not there are some people that have expressed interest and we've said, well, you've done or said some things in the past that could be, potentially damaging. So, thank you, but no thanks. So, your presence alone should be enough that you can get things moving. And, it's open to anybody and everybody who wants to go, just to come into town and experience it. And the bigger groups, there's lots of groups that go in with a lot of people. So, but I really don't have much. I would look over that document that I put up.
Postpone the fucking transparency till next October.
Did you say, Mike? Mike. Mike's
where you went.
Go ahead, Bill.
No, I'm done. I'm tired myself. I got to get off of here, but
right.
That's all I got.
Shut it down. Everybody, thank you for being here. As you know, we do this every night, so we'll be back 5 nights a week. We try to do it, except for when we have Twitter sponsors. So, Bill, you got an open invitation. Every time we do a show, I send you an invite. This is the first time you've actually accepted. So I'm putting you on Front Street. We've done probably 40 shows already, and I send you an invite every time we do one. So I expect you to be here whenever you can. Everyone's seen your face. Everyone knows who you are. It's a laid back environment. So please feel comfortable. You got an open invitation. Always, you're always, I want to come. Yes, you can. Just contact us and let us know. You're always welcome to the show, Bill. Thank you everyone for being here. I'll see everyone tomorrow night, and try to keep your head up. Don't let it mess with you. Look, they're gonna have to give it to us eventually. We're gonna keep fighting, and thank you for the support. Hang in there. We're gonna keep fighting. All right, everybody have a good night. Tim, take it easy, drive safe. Bill, get some sleep. Chris, get some sleep, and I'll see everyone tomorrow.
Thanks, Mike.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
See ya.